Welcome to the Flawed, Foolish and Fantastic podcast.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. Our podcast is called the Flawed, Foolish and Fantastic podcast. Me and Kamalpreet Singh, we are the Flawed and Foolish. We've got Vince Singh here. He's probably fantastic with you. But basically, this podcast is to speak to individuals about their life, their work. Mostly we, as a community, we tend to focus on the work of people, but not on the individuals behind the work. And the point of this podcast is to shine the light, see who you are, and everybody can realise how much effort and work you put into, obviously, some of the websites, the books, the card publishers we'll talk about later, but, the work that you put in for the com and how many years you've been doing it for is something we want to reflect upon. I just want to say thank you very much for being a guest on our podcast for a start. So, by Harjinder Singh, as long as you're happy to go, we'll get going.
Yeah.
I can get this one-word answers already. It's like, I don't want to talk now. It's like, I don't want to talk. Right. So, first question to you, and it is the same as everybody else. It's the same for every individual. It's an icebreaker. Say, who are you? Who is Harjinder Singh?
What answer are we going to give? The answer or the real answer?
I want both answers.
What's the real answer?
I want the Pada and I want the Antariva.
Who is Harjinder Singh?
Yeah.
Har means God, Jinder means life in it. It's a life gifted by God. But Harjinder Singh is the name of this body.
Yes.
And Harjinder Singh is what represents my mind. But that is not my true identity. My true identity is that we are all God. So that fantastic bit that you said in your introduction.
Yeah.
So flawed and foolish or whatever it is. Is that right?
Flawed, foolish and fantastic.
Yeah, so flawed and foolish is Harjinder Singh.
Mm-hmm.
And fantastic is the God part, which we're all trying to get to.
Yeah.
And once we get there, we realise that God. So that's my answer for today.
That's your answer for who you are?
Yeah.
No, that's fine, see. Somebody's going to sit there going, you've considered yourself to be God. Before they get into that and start cancelling you, I'm guessing you're talking on a Vedantic sense, as always.
No, they can cancel me. They can cancel me all they like. I don't care about that. Cancel me all they like.
I do. I'm getting cancelled all the time.
Man to jyot swaroop hai apna mool pashan. Khalsa khas ka har so
exactly.
So the pankti are all there anyway.
And that's what I want to say. And the pankti are all there in Gurbani before somebody goes and questions it on a Semitic sense. There's a very big difference between that side of what is God and what the Atma and Paramatma are in Sikhi. All right, second question. Tell me about your childhood and family background.
Oh, this is complicated.
Yeah.
We're really Hindus.
Okay.
In a way, historically as a family.
Yeah.
So my Baba, he actually had a Bedi wedding.
Yeah.
So even though we like base was Sikhs, but he's like very old school Punjabi. So he had a wedding around the Veds, fire in it for the with the Veds red. And obviously they came to the UK, I think in the 70s, possibly. And he died quite soon, and so did my dad, mum, when they came here.
Yeah.
So my father was the oldest of three brothers, and then this is normal Punjabis, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think don't eat meat on Tuesdays and Sundays.
Yeah. I remember those rules. Don't wash your hair on certain days. Don't do this on certain days.
So, but other than that, it's like that was the sort of childhood initially. But then my father had.
So when were you born?
78. 1978. Yeah. So my father had schizophrenia, so he was like a powerlifter.
Okay.
And he's part of the England team, for powerlifting or something. So he did a few competitions, but then he got schizophrenia. And with the bouts of schizophrenia, so those ran throughout my childhood, and so he'd be okay for like a stretch of time, like a year, and then he'd have his schizophrenic like sort of change in it. So he'd have a few months in and out of hospital, or whatever. And his actual personality would change every time he got it as well. So he was really like. I was the one in the family as the youngest child, who always knew when he was falling ill.
Okay.
So I could tell from his eyes. But as part of that process, he then, one of the times when he fell ill, he actually took Amrit. So Baba Jalal Sant, which ones are they?
Baba Gyan Singh?
Yeah, Baba Gyan Singh. So Baba Gyan Singh was here on tour in the UK.
Yeah.
And my dad, in his schizophrenia, was ultra religious in his phase of his schizophrenia. Yeah. So he then went and took Amrit and saw my mum. And my mum was like an old Punjabi, like makeup, curry, whatever, and all that sort of stuff. So when you look at the photos of my mum, like flares and all that, Hannah.
Yeah.
So they took Amrit by default, Hannah, not by like sort of planning. But my mum then kept the rent.
Yeah.
And so as a child, I started hearing like Jab Sahib and stuff being read, Hannah, by my mum in the mornings and things like that. And then my dad was actually best friends with the Granthi and the Godra as well. Even though the Granthi was really old.
Old were you on?
No, not here. Also, so Baba Balwant Singh, Hannah.
Yeah.
So Baba Balwant Singh was like this old-time Granthi at Guru Nanak Godra Karma for like 45 years, probably. He was the Granthi, I think. And he used to Katham by Gurudasthi Amara. His brother was more famous, Professor Santokh Singh, Hannah.
Okay.
But they looked identical, Hannah. They weren't identical twins or anything, but they were brothers, but they looked identical. But Baba Balwant Singh, he was close to my dad, so he used to come every week to our house on a Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So he'd bring us like chocolates, Kit Kats and Twixes and whatever, Hannah, and get us to do a bit of art, or even if he saw us in the Gurdwara, say Satnam Vaheguru and give you like Mishri and stuff like that, Hannah. Yeah. So we still got our Gurti of Sikhi from him really as well, Hannah. So he always came and checked up on us as well, checked up on my dad, like as a weekly thing. So from his duty, actually come to your house, and you know what I mean, like it'd take him like half an hour, whatever, Hannah, on 2 buses to get to our house. Right. But he did that, Hannah. And but then my mum kept her earth, and then my dad had like his lapses like with alcohol and things like that, because really he didn't really actually mean to take Amrit, so he was a bit weird, and he could never do his Nityanem properly because he was so drugged up on the drugs from the schizophrenia, so he used to get injections and stuff. So he could never do his Nityanem, so he just literally stopped falling asleep, Hannah, when he was trying to do his Nityanem. So he did try, to be fair to him, Hannah. And then he passed away when I was 14. And so up to that point, we were like no Punjabi family. And then when I was about, I think at 11 actually, I remember now. At 11, I took Jula, so I went to take Amrit with my older brother, Hannah. So there's 3 of us in total, Hannah. One of us has passed away, the middle one, Hannah. Yeah. But the oldest one, he's always been like, he's like the born son in the family, and it no meat ever. Nityanem and like took Amrit when he was like 8 or something, I think, Hannah. So he's like the Sadhu Sabha in it. Yeah. On the corrupt one. But anyway, and me and the middle one, and the older one, well, 1 year older than me, and we decided to take Amrit when we were like 10, 11, because we've been born up in a family, we always thought like that was the way to go, Hannah. Yeah. But, and I can't remember if we'd stopped eating meat or egg then, I'm not sure. So when Babaji and Kawale come to the first tour to the UK, where we're sitting down in his house, they came on this estate.
So what was that, 89, 90?
Yeah, I can't remember now, but they came on this estate, Hannah.
Okay, yeah.
And the photo, I've actually given it to Bowles.
Yeah.
She's got the photo on it from the first tour, Hannah. That photo was taken in, Hannah. But when he came, Jagjit Singh Harkawale, so that was first ever tour, he got me and my brother to stop eating meat. Okay. Well, I think we were just eating egg at the moment, because of cakes and stuff, because you're going to get the egg-free cakes, Hannah. So we used to eat, I think, egg, I'm not sure, Hannah, but we sort of gave that up then because he made us, Hannah. And then we went to take Amrit, and it was like really weird. Is that Karma Godra and the Granthi got these, it was another Granthi, not Baba Balwant Singh, got these things to them, and they turned out to be a Khan Kirtan Jatha. Yeah. And no one in the Godra knew they were going to be like a Khan Kirtan Jatha, so the people going in there were like, we're not wearing the keski. So there's like massive debates and fights going on about like wearing the keski in the Samrasanchar. And in the end, me and my brother went in to take Amrit, and the Punjabi had this long discussion, because in schools it was really hard then enough for kids to take Amrit, and like, you used to have to go swimming and stuff, didn't you? Like, where do you put your Qurban, where do you put your Qur'an and stuff, and so we had this long debate with the Punjabi, and in the end they said, look, you know what, forget it, don't take Amrit today, take Jula, keep your earth and stuff, and then take it when you're older, Hannah, when you haven't got these problems at school. Yeah. So we agreed to, Hannah. We were ready to take it as well, Hannah. And so we took Jula that day, Hannah, and then we just started, I think I used to just like do, I don't know if I used to do Japji Sahib, the whole Japji Sahib, or 20 Poriya, like every other day if I didn't do all of it. But so that became my Nityanem, Hannah, and started doing Rera Sahib as well. I can't remember if I used to do Soila, but Rera was like in the house, we always do it together. And then after my dad passed away, sort of like, it was a bit of a shock in it for him to die, Hannah, that time, Hannah. But he died from like alcohol, Hannah. So he went on a bender one day and he got alcohol poisoning, Hannah. But other than that, after that, at 16, I'll take Amrit in the end. So I was looking for something, Hannah, and in the end I took Amrit when I was 16. I remember going to the Khalsa camp in Bangor in 1994. But before I went to the camp, I'd already...
I was there at the same time.
Yeah. But I'd already decided before that camp that I'm going to take Amrit. Yeah. So Bangor 94, I remember I went to the June March.
That was the AKJ camp, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Khalsa camp. He wasn't officially AKJ that year.
That was the first camp I went to.
He's Dr. Dipinder Singh. But he was officially not AKJ that year, Hannah. He wasn't under the banner. He was under Sikh Nojwan Sabha, something that he made at the time. But I remember what happened was, I went to the Jurassic March and it was 10 years.
Yeah.
And on the way back on the coach, I stood the whole way for 3 hours. And I just kept thinking and thinking. And that day is sort of when I sort of solidified that I'm going to take Umrat, Anna.
Yeah.
And then the camp was like, I was going to go to the camp and take Umrat after it, so I'd already decided, like, whatever Muslim child comes, I'm taking Umrat. So it wasn't like, go to this Jatabandi or whatever, Anna.
Yeah.
And so that's what really happened. And then after that, you just start your path, and you'll come up in some of the other questions you've already got, Anna. So as a family, we were like a normal Punjabi family, really, not nothing like ultra religious or anything like that. We just stumbled upon Sicky, Anna. Maharaj like brought us in. But other than that, it's like nothing.
You say that. What was your schooling like? What was...
Oh, school.
Yeah, no, schooling, like, education, especially with... Were you wearing at the start at the time? Were you...
Our school was rough.
Okay.
We were stabbing... Well, we weren't.
Any offences will be admitted from this podcast.
So if people like... Local people like Birmingham, UK...
Yeah.
Will know like Sher Punjab and stuff,
exactly.
Anna. And there used to be massive like gang warfare between Pakistanis and Sikhs.
Yeah.
And our school, Alanwell, was renowned for it. So after school, there used to be like people getting axed in front of the school and things like that. So our school was really multicultural. So our school was like my class. I remember there's like 5 Sikhs, 5 Bengalis, 5 Pakistani Muslims, 5 Gore, and a couple of Kale.
So the Kale were the minorities. Then.
And some Gujis as well. Gujarati Hindus, like 4 or 5 as well. So it was like a proper mix.
Yeah.
So that's and our school was like renowned for the Muslim Sikh fights. But by the time I joined that school, to be fair, the Sikhs had got the upper hand and it sort of fizzled out. So to be fair, a lot of Muslims were scared to come to the school for fear of getting beat up if they were from certain neighbourhoods like Birchwells and stuff, Anna. But to be fair, we didn't ever have any problems. We had some problems towards the end, but that was just like kids being kids, and it was nothing to do with like race or religion or anything like that. But yeah, so our schooling was proper comprehensive schooling, Anna, and nothing special. But we all 3 of us ended up at universities.
Yeah.
So that just put us through, Anna. But we were always in the top sets and stuff. I remember even the grammar school test. I was crying. I didn't want to sit here because I didn't want to go to grammar school. I would have probably passed it, to be fair. I would have probably got to grammar school. But I remember I got some wrong in the exam, and I think I might have on purpose got some wrong as well because I wanted to make sure I didn't want to go to grammar school. Yeah.
But you know, considering what you said about your Punch PR, they're quite considerate there with regards to the age and what might happen in your schooling.
Yeah.
And obviously you take your chula. Were there any issues at school with regards to keeping your Sikhi?
Nah, nothing.
No, nothing.
So I remember we had one race. We had a few racists go in the school who were known.
That's normal.
But the ones that were known would either get beat up or they were actually really strong at fighting, Anna. So there's one guy, I think his name was Kevin Cross, Anna, and he was 2 years older than me, so he's 1 year older than my brother. My brother was like 6'1" when he joined school when he was 11.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. and he put more weight on while he was there, Anna.
Yeah.
And I remember Kevin Cross started a fight with him or something. So like everyone was scared to fight this guy because he's like a judo, like England level, so that's how he was, Anna. But he was racist as well, blatantly. So he shouted at my brother in the corridor, called him a big jobber who or something, Anna. And my brother just turned around because you're that big yourself. You're like, forget it, innit? Tell anybody.
Yeah.
And I remember him telling me, he went to him. And so Kevin Cross, he called him in the corridor, called him that, and he just said, like, come then, innit?
Yeah.
So he came to him, the Gora did, and then he tried to put him in a judo lock straight away, and he just grabbed him up and just threw him. So it's like, the rock throws someone like him. So he just smashed him across the corridor and just beat him up. So he's like the talk of the town, Anna. So he's battered him. He didn't come to school for a week.
So you were fine after that? You got an older brother who would look after you anyway?
That was already set anyway, because my older brother and there was the Carl in his year, Hannah, Adrian as well, and Adrian White. And so they were like, and then when I joined, is me and Andrew, the 2 brothers, their brothers, you know what I mean? So we were like set anyway. Yeah. And even my cousins had like quite a bad time in Cannock and stuff in the schools there. But then one of my cousins went from here up on our J skills. He's going to like me mention this. And he put 2 kids through like windows and stuff in the first week at the school. And after that, no one messed with our family in Cannock as well. So Cannock's a predominantly white area, Anna, and Hensford and stuff. So, but he put that right as well. So as kids, we were like quite violent. I won't like shy away from that, but that was like
that's how you had to be.
That was the street area that we lived in as well. Like now where we used to live, the shootings there and stuff now. Hannah, so we moved out of those.
Where did you live?
It's just down here, North Walsall and stuff near Birchwells.
Birchwells, okay.
Yeah, But so yeah, the upbringing, like we didn't have real racism, and even like
Yeah.
I had one girl that called me something, and we just smacked him up in it, and he was begging for it, and then he was like, "Run the bachara," put his coat over and started beating him up, and he was crying bachara under the coat. Get on Baskar, bravo, shouted down. But yeah, so it was like there was not the. But it's like it was quite hard as kids because I think even though where we lived, there was like racist like 2 streets away.
Yeah.
So even where we live now, there's like kids who are racist here as well and stuff. So I think the racism never goes away, Hannah. But it's very hard as a Sikh to control yourself and not like give it back because you can get in trouble for doing that as well, Hannah.
Well, it goes 2 ways. For me, I've seen it when I've talked to people. It either goes, people push away from their Sikhi because they want to not be in that position where they get abuse.
Yeah.
Or it influences their Sikhi and go, fuck it, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah,
Because no matter even if I get rid of my gears, whatever, cut my hair, do whatever, you're still going to call me whatever you want to.
yeah. No,
it's just how did it influence?
Our sort of routine was always the opposite.
Yeah, so nice.
So
You're a
it was
rebel,
like,
innit?
Yeah, you just we'd actually say no, come then, Anna.
Yeah. That's,
So as a kid, I was growing up to count people walking past me.
yeah.
So remember, I started to fight with 7 skinheads once as well. And then I had to run for my life. But that's another story. We'll stop there.
No, I'm not surprised. So basically, schooling and everything was good. I didn't,
Yeah,
so
no.
it wasn't nothing
There's
with
no
regards
challenge
Sikhi,
to our
nothing.
Sikhi.
No challenge.
And I think, to be fair, even my brothers, because they were at the school,
Yeah,
that kept me in my Sikhi, so I couldn't have girlfriends and stuff, or I couldn't do stuff.
yeah,
I had to look out over my shoulder. And if they hadn't been at the school, I'd have been doing all sorts.
yeah.
So because of the family links in the school as well, that helped me.
And that kept you in check. No, that's fine. With regard, I'm going to move on to you've already mentioned it, how you got into Sikhi with regards to Dad,
Yeah.
being quite impulsive and doing
Yeah.
whatever. Did you find that weird that one day your dad's just turned up and he's gone and taken on with?
No, because we were kids.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because we were too young. Plus,
See,
we,
I
we knew he was schizophrenia, so I was like, we were actually happy. He's like actually gone the right way.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So we didn't like. It was never really. It was just. It's when you're kids, you don't like really realize what's going on around you
yeah,
or how hard your life is. So you just accept it, Anna. Because like we were really poor, Anna. Like I remember we used to sleep on the sofa with our coats.
yeah,
We had no gumballs in our house.
yeah,
You used to pull your coat out to go to sleep on the sofa, like if you're gonna like chill out, Hannah. So like terraced house in it.
yeah.
Dad never worked because he was ill, so we were on benefits and stuff, Hannah. And whatever you could scam, you scam, don't you?
And
Hannah?
that's what you did.
So that's like that was normal, like in a city upbringing for a lot of the Sikh kids, Hannah, back then.
Hmm.
But then everyone left the neighbourhood, and we were the ones left there because we were still poor.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? So everyone moves out, don't
yeah,
they?
of course.
So
You get a bit of money. And
I think
you
we
move
were
out
the
there.
last 2 families in that neighbourhood
Hmm.
left there. But he was like completely Sikh at one point.
Yeah,
And then after everyone moved out.
that's fine. No, because I had the opposite experience. I remember being at home, chilling with Dad one day, and then Dad walks in later on, and I'm like, "Who the hell is this?" And it was my dad with clean shaven, cut hair, and I was like, and it's until he spoke, I was like, "What happened here?" It's like,
Yeah.
and you just sort of changes your view. And how the hell has this happened? So I didn't know whether that,
Yeah,
your
nah,
dad
he was,
coming home or
nah, he wasn't. It was just like, it was just something that happened, and it was nothing.
no, it's fine. Right, you talk. One of the questions is how did you get into Sikhi? I know you've touched upon it with regards to your dad's
Yeah,
influence and mum's influence. And one of the things you brought up is obviously you attended Amrit Satyard with the Akhand Kirtani Jatha at
Yeah,
the time. What was going through your head when you saw the Bibia there either arguing to take the Amrit based on the Keski?
It was just tamasha, the whole thing was tamasha.
But did you understand what was going on?
No, yeah, we did. It was all tamasha for
Okay.
us because we were kids, and so we were like 10, 11 years old. And he wasn't even, I don't think he was even officially the Kandki. He's like the local Birmingham lot who did it, Hannah.
Yeah.
And the reason we found it tamasha because basically the Bibiyan were arguing with the Panj Pyare, we're not wearing the Keski.
Yeah.
You can't take Amrit, but we're not wearing it. So there's like this, all these Bibiyan who came to take Amrit, they were all arguing. And then
So Barney had been read already?
No.
This
This is before, Hannah.
Right.
Because they're saying if you don't wear a keski, you can't take Amrit.
Yeah.
So my mom and Hardeep Singh, Ed's mom,
Yeah.
they were keski from that point on, Hannah.
Yeah, exactly.
So they followed the red, to be fair, because they were going Pesh, Hannah. They weren't
Exactly.
actually taking Amrit, they were doing a Pesh, Hannah, to take Amrit again, Hannah,
Yeah.
for the Galti. And so my mom and Hardeep Singh's mom, Hannah, they both took it, Hannah.
Mm.
So they didn't actually argue, but I remember one Bibi, to this day, she's not taking Amrit.
Yeah.
Hannah. So this is going back like 30 years, and you really think about these things like just because the Bibi wouldn't wear a keski, but it's like sacrifice as well, Hannah. it's not about the debate of a case being, but like the Punjabi are saying it, you're going to get Amrit and in exchange, tenu ki katta, you know what I mean, to wear a case ki, because you're told to cover your hair anyway. So it wasn't even like, like Sampradaya argument. It wasn't even that. It's basically normal Godra Sangat just saying, I don't want to wear a case ki. Okay. I'm not going to wear a case ki. So that went on. And then even then in the Amrit Sanchar, when they do Nam, they do this breathing technique, and they hug each other, And my dad walked out, because my dad was a geezer. He didn't like it, so he just walked out the Amrit Sanchar. And like, this is what I mean, is like, it was a bit of a chaos, the Amrit Sanchar.
Yeah.
I don't want to name, like, one of the Singhs is still alive, I know he was in the Punjabi. Yeah. But my dad, I don't know how he walked out. He walked out the Amrit Sanchar. He's like, I'm not doing this.
They normally shut the doors and you got...
Yeah, so he's like, he walked out, my dad did.
Okay.
So it was just like, it was all a bit of a weird process, but I still thank Guru Sahib that I took Jula that day.
Yeah.
Because it still grounded me for the next 4 or 5 years to wear the kakar.
Yeah.
Not do putte kam wear kashera and stuff. So it still stopped me from doing things. So it's still like a killer around me, regardless of if I messed around and didn't keep the ret fully. It still helped me to get to the point when I did take it when I was 16. Because it was always there and at the back of my mind, you are going to take Amrit one day.
Yeah. This is your step.
Yeah. So it was like, it was always set from that point on. So Baba Jagjit Singh Harkwale as well, like, I'll always be grateful to them, even though they don't like me because they don't go too much. Because they're the ones who like set the first step, like to stop eating the egg and stuff. Because I wouldn't have gone to the Amrit Sanchar if I was still eating egg or
Yeah.
But so that they'd already done that, and then I went to the Amrit Sanchar, and then after that, I think at 16 I really have a identity crisis, and that's what pushes me to take Amrit.
Okay, so tell me about that.
There's nothing. It's just.
Is it the same as? Not an identity crisis. You go through like a philosophical thought, don't you?
No, it's not that deep.
Okay.
It was just simply like my dad died when I was 14, and after that point, it was like I was always looking for someone to love or something to love,
Yeah.
And then I turned to Guru Sahib, in the end.
Yeah.
So from the age of 14 to 16, I was flittering, of what to do,
Yeah.
And you're young and you're going through puberty and stuff,
Yeah.
So, and then in the end, I just decided, So I don't know if it was the 84 March, I don't know if it was the 5 years of Jula. I can't really say, I can't. It's like Guru Sahib's bakshish, that you come through all that to then turn around one day and say I'm taking it and I'm not coming back.
Yeah.
So that was it. So after I took Amrit, I was a bit shaky for a while, because my sangat was really bad.
Yeah.
So all my friends are like, I think it was 5 spliffs a day, 3 cans of soup, tennet soup, lager.
And all of a sudden
really
you turned up.
And I'm there taking Amrit, and all of them are doing all this gear and stuff, every day.
Yeah.
So I was literally surrounded by people who were hooked on weed.
Yeah.
And then slowly I broke off from them, and then they all like fell out of touch with me and stuff as well. But then, because that was the dodgy stage, after taking Amrit, like, you have to change your circle and everything, So slowly that all fell apart, and then I moved on,
So tell me about, obviously, you're 16, you come into Sikhi, you're going off to university, college, whatever. How did your Sikhi grow from there on?
See, I don't know how honest I should be. It can't be to you in it.
No,
I
you
can't
don't.
lie to you in it.
You say what you want to say.
It's a public recording.
End of the day, this is going out to everybody else.
It's quite bad, this recording. Man, we might have to cut some of this, man.
Everybody has skeletons.
It's too gangster, this is, But, so I was really into gangster rap,
Yeah, still am today. We were listening to it on the way here.
And Cypress Hill and stuff,
Yeah.
And I didn't really like Wu-Tang Clan at the time, but I had some like vinyls and stuff that I sold afterwards as well. I made some good money, But, so our thinking, because we were inner city kids, and our thinking was very like criminal-based.
Yeah.
And criminality. That's what you saw your future as, because that's where we were brought up. So, and plus we were violent anyway. So you have like a chip on your shoulders when you live in these neighbourhoods. If you're one of these kids who beats other kids up, not for fun, You're not the bully, but just to get by and to survive, So my plan really before I took Amrit was to set up a national crime network in the universities and colleges.
Okay.
Because I knew I was going to be clever, so I knew I was going to go to college.
Yeah.
So my plan before I took Amrit was to set up a national crime syndicate. That was the actual plan. Yeah. And have it like mapped out nationally through the universities. And then when I took Amrit...
When you say as a national crime syndicate, you mean as an organisation that helps each other when you need to do some crime?
Yeah, but you're just linked up in it. Yeah, okay. It's just like...
Because a national crime syndicate is the people who try to stop crime.
Yeah, that's the police in it. But I mean as a like...
No, that's fine.
Yeah. It's just the word I'm using,
No, that's fine.
Yeah, but it's just like a criminal network,
Yeah.
across universities or colleges, because I knew I was going to go to college and stuff,
Yeah.
And but then when I took Kamalpreet, it just changed overnight.
Yeah.
So then it was like, all right, we need to have a national Sikh organisation.
Yeah, that's good.
And then when I went to college, I got in touch with the boss guy, so his British organisation, Sikh students. And at that time, not Harjinder. And to be fair, at that time, boss were really strong.
Yeah, they were.
They were huge at the time, when I was 16, and so I got in touch with Harjinder Singh from Birmingham.
Okay.
And I remember Harjinder Singh, it was so funny, like our journey, he used to like call me an idiot, a bandar and all this, Buddhu and all this. Then by the time he dies, he like called me Pai Sahib and all this. Like, and I used to laugh to myself, like, you didn't realise it. I was like, I mean, like, Buddhu Santan, I was like, how am I Pai Sahib? And it's like, it's quite funny, like our journey together and as friends. So I got in touch with Harjinder Singh. There was another guy a couple of months saying, Bruce from Warsaw, who was a lot older than us, but he was already involved. And so at college, I set up a Sikh Society at Wolfram College, which is in Wolverhampton at the time,
Which is surprising because most of the Sikh societies at the time were university based.
Yeah. So I was one of the first colleges, So I remember Buddha Singh came down and we like got 100 people to sign up on the first day, And then we did some talks and stuff, and so so I got involved in Boss that way. And then by the time I got to university, I got to Warwick University.
Yeah.
I'm on the national exec by the time I'm 18 for Boss. And then I become the Midlands coordinator for the 3 years that I'm at university. So literally we're coordinating all the West Midlands and East Midlands Sikh societies.
Yeah.
And I can't remember what year it was. 96 is the first Sicky camp that Boss do. But by 97 I was part of the organising of the second camp in Manchester. By 98 I was running the camp.
Okay.
There was like a core group of 4 or 5 of us. And
So
we ran
who else was that with you at the time?
Bison Thorkson from Hitchin, Hardeep Singh,
Yeah.
Ed. But Ed wasn't officially part of the Boss executive, even though he was helping big time, By Janak Singh from the Federation through the army contact, so he was sort of our army liaison, And Inderjit Singh Basildon, who lives now in here in Birmingham, who's close to Babaji Singh.
Okay.
And I can't remember who else. It used to be different people, like Bajagdev Singh used to be quite heavily involved. So the core group of the camp, we made it 5 people, most times.
Yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily, they'd be like different people, but the core would be Indy, Santok, myself, and possibly some others, My brother was on there, Jitinder Singh, Same as the bars with Kulwant Singh, So there's a group of us, so even Binder as well, And there was a group of us, but some people didn't come to sit in camps, but we sort of became the core group running the camps for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
So at that age, we were running like national programs and stuff. And then, what was the question?
We were just talking about obviously the setup of the Sikh Society. You've set it up in college.
Yeah, so
that's university.
Yeah, so we also used to do like Sikhi weeks, and I saw some talks and coined that idea. So where you'd have different Sikh societies having a week of talks with different unis, and they'd all travel around and stuff. And then we used to keep them the bars in the Godare as well. But we always saw the focus of, it didn't matter what talks we did. The talks don't mean nothing in a Sikh society until you get those kids into a Godara and a Kirtan Darbar and do some prachar with them from tomorrow, there's no effect, there's no impact as far as we were concerned. So our aim was always to get them to the Godara or to the camp. And how we did it with the camps, we just lied to them.
Okay, yeah.
We literally used to lie to people. We say it's just an activity camp. We didn't need to tell them they're going to be at the bar. We didn't tell them anything.
Yeah.
I remember 97, Baba Singh came to the camp at Old Car, Manchester, It was where the Krypton Factor. The assault course was there on that side.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, Krypton Factor, you thought when I was getting to Krypton Factor. But Baba Singh, I remember, came to the camp.
Behold, we
Yeah, so we took him into a camera, I had like laid out. I remember Bhaji Singh came as well. It was quite funny when Bhaji Singh came, because Bhaji Singh came with his wife and her mother. And we all, for any dignitary who used to come at that level, we used to like put our chadar on a chair and take him to a different room, langar pani, whatever. I remember I took Bhaji Singh into there. Bhaji said, I want to go to the toilet or something. So he walked out, and a chair's there, and Mata's standing there like his wife. I go, Mata, tusi bejo. And she goes, no. And I was like, respectful, because she could be quite harsh, Bibi, she used to be like really like shout at him and stuff as well at times, because he'd never rest and stuff. And I was like, it was a marital relationship, But Baba Singh came. Baba Singh sat down, and he turned around to us and goes, "Tuada kam bahut akha." And we were like, "What's he going on? Kidda? What?" He goes, "Enne monne."
Yeah.
Because the camp was literally 80 or 90% monne.
Yeah, it would be.
So we actually got money to the camp. So all the camps sort of lost that,
Yeah.
So even Carl's camp today and other camps now, they're all like sort of middle ground or advanced Sikhi level. No one's doing like the entry level now. Yeah. So the Sikhi camp boss does do when it does occur. They do the entry level, but they don't get the Munna Sangat,
Yeah.
which is what we always aimed for. So even with the Sikh side, we used to put Munna forward as the president and stuff.
Yeah, we did.
We'd control it from behind and make sure they didn't mess around. We'd kick them off if they messed around. So they'd know they're only there as a face, Anna, to pull the people in that we want to do Prajar to. So that's the way we ran the things, Anna. And then when I was 21, I actually quit from the boss exec.
Okay.
When I graduated, I had a big argument with him, shouted at them all, and said, basically, I'm quitting. But at that time, I was the only one who was a student left on the exec.
Okay.
And then they never recovered from that point. It's not because I left. It's just things happened, and they'd all graduated, and then they didn't really want to relinquish power, and then it became the story of an organisation who just relinquished power and handed over to the students to
So
run.
they didn't have any succession plan at all?
They did. They wrote succession plans, they wrote things, but nothing ever got implemented.
Okay.
So for the next 10 years, people tried, and it just never happened. And there's still people in there who are still controlling and holding power, who still haven't handed over control to students.
Okay.
Which was a student at Jathebandi, Hannah. But back then, like I remember Harvey and Arjun, he says it was the golden era of the Sikh side centre, because we rocked the show, I'm not going to lie. But the good thing was, it wasn't about boss. We had Sher Punjab and some of the London lads. They were actually competing with us,
Okay.
which was really healthy. And I can't remember who else. There was another one organisation or two. But it was healthy competition to keep everyone on their toes, to keep the Prajar going, Hannah. So that was a really good thing. That's what we needed at that time, to keep the fire in your bellies. Otherwise, you just don't bother, Hannah. So it was a good period of time, but it was that good in terms of the camps as well. We used to have 10 or 11 Singhs who could, at the drop of a hat, go and do Hukamnama Katha with no prep.
That's good.
So we just do Prakash the Bhoti of Manmohan Singh Bhoti. It might not have been advanced Katha,
Yeah.
but at the time it was like really good. And so we had a lot of Kirtan like by Manjeet Singh, Jagdev Singh's brother. We had Gogi and Agrinder Singh Gogi used to do fantastic talks and Kirtan. Jagdeep Singh, who passed away who was in Sunderland at the time, from Southall. And Harjinder Singh Lakhan was on the scene, even though he was never officially part of Boss. Amarjit Singh. There was a guy called Harjinder Singh who did good talks back then as well. There's like if you look on the actual age level, we haven't got the speakers who do that now, whereas all of us were speakers as well. So it was a different time period, and I look back now, and I did at one point try. So I became like the unofficial official leader of Sikh youth for the UK at one point.
Yeah.
Without actually having a position and having a Jathebandi. And we just had a network, and we could get 200 guys together in an hour if we wanted to, Anna. So we used to do things like that. But the thing was, because through the camps and stuff, we worked with every Jathebandi. So even boss exec, we had people from every Jathebandi. So it wasn't nothing to do like Tuksar, like anything like that. Literally, we had everyone on there. So we all worked cohesively together. So a lot of the youth who my age now, who've grown up, they all respect me because they know what we did back then.
Yeah.
And they know we worked with everyone. So even like the Siane. So I relinquished my power because Bhagwan Ji told me to, and they said, look, je tu hana na hatya, fir tenu pata hai kidda kursi to launa. So even though it's not official leadership, Hannah,
Well, it was a pedestal. It was a pedestal, wasn't it?
yeah, we could still like call programs and call people, and like we could walk into a Jathebandi and say, you're not doing this because the youth are not going to allow you, and we'd get their own boys to like back us, Hannah. So we had like a strong hold, Hannah, over the youth in the UK. But then I just stepped back. I tried to hand it over to another Singh, and he failed miserably to take on the platter, and he just fizzled out. And then after that, like you're sitting here now, who's Harjinder Singh, I'm not comfortable like speaking about myself really.
Nobody is.
Yeah, so
That's
it's only because
that's the reason why
I
we're doing
hide
this.
behind the car publishers, and I hide behind platforms, and
And that's the problem. That's the problem. That's the reason for doing this, because people hide behind platforms. I've done it years. You've done it years. Everybody does it.
yeah, but we do it for a purpose, though.
I just do it because you take the piss out of how fat I look on the top. That's why.
God, we're going to be here all night.
And that's fine. No, that's fine. So, obviously, you talked about your Sikhi. And the next thing I want to get into is the first time I read your work was Game of Love. How, and the Reflections of 84. Those are two books that still sit in my house, and every now and then I pick them up. I'm picking up and reading them against the new Shaheed books and things like that. How did you, one, get into the mindset, research? How did those publications come forth?
Game of Love was really complicated because back then, see, it's different now. See, because people now like are saying to us now, why don't you go and do interviews? Why don't you do this? Because back then, no one spoke.
Yeah.
Because even back with the boss, I was literally the official 1984 speaker.
Okay.
No one else would speak on 1984.
Yeah.
So for many years, I was literally the only guy who'd go and talk on 1984 because everyone else was petrified to talk on it. Scared of going to India. I used to have an orange gold Damalla on my passport
Okay.
People thought I was crazy or an Indian government agent. It was like one of the two. And to be fair, I've never had a paycheck. It'd be nice if I did have one, innit? From the Indian government for all the gala I've had for being an agent. And पैसे मिल जाते तो फिर बंदा सबर कर लेंदा कि हम गाला खादियां में पुरवाने हैं ना. But it's like, is that what it was? People don't understand. You do prachar, but you don't take the mick out the Indian government.
Yeah.
So you stand on your truth, but you don't rub it in their face.
Yeah.
So like Deep Sidhu, he did it on the ground.
Yeah.
There's a difference, and I haven't done it on the ground. I'd be a good little boy when I go to India.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't rub it in their face.
Yeah.
So they've got, you know your limit where you push it, Hannah, or what you do. But with Game of Love, it was more, we wanted to portray the Jeevaniya of the Shaheed Singhs.
Yeah.
And Singhaniya. And what we learnt was that, I've got a folder upstairs I can show you, and it's got literally like 100 Jeevaniya in there, Hannah. And we just found that there was no history written.
Yeah.
So what you would find is the Singh or Singhani heard Sant Prachar, came to Sikhi, or 84 happened,
Yeah.
then they came into the Sangharsh, or they kept getting picked up and tortured as an innocent person, so they took up arms.
Yeah.
Then they joined KCF, KLF, BKI, whoever it may be, did a few actions and got Shaheed.
Yeah.
And in between, you've got nothing else.
Yeah.
So you got 100 Jeevaniya, which all say the name, the bend, father's, mother's name, the goat, the Jathabandiya, and all of them were the same story.
Yeah.
So I got Agya of Babaji Singh to write the book first, Hannah, in terms of doing the research. Hannah. So Babaji said, "Ha karo baat changa uprala." Hannah.
When was that?
I can't remember the years now, Cam. So I think
So did you research prior to seeing Bob Tark Singh? You're saying, I've got this.
no. 98 is when the book gets published, Hannah.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And so Babaji comes here in 97, wasn't he? I can't remember the years. No, it can't be 98. 2008 is when we published the book. 2008.
No, that's reflect.
No,
Game of Love. Yeah, Game of Love.
Game of Love is 2008, Hannah. So 97 Babaji comes. So I don't know what period.
Okay.
After that, I asked Babaji for Agya. Because first we did the Red Maryada, the Babaji's Agya. So that was the first publication, to be fair, Hannah. And that took a bit of time. The English Red Maryada, the small one.
The Gurbani da Adab.
No.
Okay, yeah, no.
Yeah,
and
the
actual
Syndicate
Red one,
Red Maryada, Syndicate one,
got
Hannah.
that.
So that was the first thing that we did actually into English as a project. And then after that is when we got Agya from Babaji to do the Jeevaniya.
Okay.
And Babaji said, do you? I said, we can do it in English. Babaji said, karo. And literally no one had any publications or anything. So you had like the old Des Pradesh and Mazikams, and like, who's going to sit there and collate them? So I collated as much as I could. And when I started doing the translation, I realised that the story's all the same. This isn't going to work as a book.
Okay.
And then Tupaban popped up.
Yeah.
Tupaban Forum. And there was some Singhs. There was Kamalpreet Singh and
Kamalpreet Singh.
Kamalpreet Singh. And there was this guy who used a fake name. And Zorawar Singh, who I've now found out because he told me who he was. And he's Jagjit Singh from Wakefield. And he used to put some up as well. So he had some access to some. So a lot of the Jeevaniya then flipped to using the ones that they had because they had more information.
Okay.
So Kamalpreet Singh put some up. But they had actual Jeevan Jalkinya.
Okay.
So I could use that information. So what we then did is we changed the focus because I thought this isn't going to work as a book. It's going to be boring if you just got Jeevaniya and they don't really tell you anything. It's just going to be the same story repeating itself.
Yeah.
So then I thought we have to do it into a Sikhi book. I make it so it's got a shelf life forever. So that's why we do the introduction on the Das Baat Shanya.
Yeah.
Then we do a bit on the Banda Singh Bahadur and Maharaja Ranjit Singh, the British Raj. And then we go into the Jeevaniya, don't we?
Yeah.
So then we took the Jalkiya that we did have to populate the book.
Okay.
And we put it in chronological order. But we knew that anyone who reads that book, I do not know a person who's read that book who doesn't cry when they read it.
Yeah.
Because they get
first
moved.
time
So
you read it,
first two chapters is like a bit boring, I'll admit that. But once you get to the third, and you start reading what these things did
and went through
and the things they did.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
so like I've got Monday cousins who read the book and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I go, did you cry? And they go, yeah. Because they can't help it, Anna, but that's the Jeevaniya of the thing. So there's nothing to do with me writing, because that's why I wrote edited as well.
Yeah.
So the accusation from a lot of people, oh, you copied and pasted and wrote this book.
Yeah, but you're compiling information together.
That's why I wrote edited.
Every report is
yeah,
that.
but that's why I did write edited, Anna, because I couldn't write authored by, because we did take a lot of the material from different websites and stuff, so we wrote that. But the only downfall was when after we published it, someone did say to me, they said, you can't academically, that book will always be challenged because you've not put down where the information was from, like this and stuff, and even off the forums have disappeared now. So we know it's true, but we can't prove it. But then for me, academically, it was like, I don't really care, because I've made a reference point. Someone can quote Game of Love as a book.
Yeah.
ਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂਗਾ ਇੰਨਾ ਕਿ ਇੰਨੀ ਨਿਚੋੜ 'ਚ ਜਾਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿੰਘਾਂ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤੇ ਆ
Yeah.
ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸੰਗਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਬੰਦਿਆਂ ਦੀ like Harjinder's mother we've done sangat with them Babaji Singh's wife so we've got people close in our circles and that we've met and like the Singhs now who are willing now to speak to me Anna.
Yeah.
So after like 2008 we published the book but now coming with 2020 14 years on
Yeah.
Singhs who've been close to me all my life who never talk to me and I've still got people in India who are like fathers to me but they won't speak to me because in a family circle your father doesn't want you to pick up the manduk
Yeah, of course I do.
because he's picked it up and he's been through the movement Anna. So some of them will not speak to me because of the family relationship that I've got with them Anna. Even though we're not blood related Anna, but we're really close as people Anna. So the thing is some of them will never speak to me because they don't want me to go down that path. So it's quite hard as a researcher when sometimes we get involved in these circles Anna. So a lot of the Sheikh Pravars who know me personally like actually try stopping me from speaking on stages or doing things as well. They'll actually say like just leave it because we've been through this Anna.
Yeah. Is it true that it took 5 years worth of research to put into the book?
10.
That's even more. So yeah,
It took 10 years.
I remember reading the book. I remember sitting there.
It took 10 years. Think of it, 98 to 2008, it's 10 years. It took me 10 years to write that book.
I remember sitting with Guljeet Singh. We were in Leicester,
Huh.
and we had the books at the time. And I remember him telling me at the time, I was like, so this took him 5 years to do. And I was like, yeah, at the time, this is stupid, but at the time you think to yourself, damn, that's a whole of secondary school.
Yeah.
You know when you're thinking in that
Because
manner.
we didn't have no information, so we were always scouting around for information and finding it and saving it and things. And like, because we were poor, I had a computer. You should have seen it. My back used to hurt. I used to have back problems because I was typing up the Red Miranda on a computer sitting on my floor in my bedroom in Coventry. Because we had no resources, we had nothing. We were like literally on the back of a like, you know what I mean?
But
So
that's all you could do.
it was really hard and that period for us and then people wouldn't tell you stuff and things like that. Oh, you're from this Jathabandi, you're related to them. So it was really hard to collect the information. And then even the Jathabandi as well, they really failed me as a researcher.
Okay.
They didn't give me information even after I wrote the book. Some of them like just, and the Jathabandi approved that book.
Yeah.
I'll say that today, Anna. So Kharku Jathabandi actually read that book. I wasn't stupid, Anna. I got them to approve it because people made accusations to me that you wrote about this Singh and you wrote this and you wrote that. And I just turned around and said, well, the Jathabandi read it. They didn't have a problem with it, Anna. Yeah. So we actually got it proofed and read and signed off, Anna, by Sangarshi people as well. So no one can then do an ungli to us, Anna, to say, you've put this in, it's a controversial point, Anna.
Yeah.
So we did that as well. But it was really hard because even after writing the book and putting the research together, still people didn't open their mutti to give us information. And then since then, like they've leaked other stuff to other people. But it's like, what's the point of it if you're not still sharing it in the public domain?
And that's the problem.
So keeping it in your houses, you can do that in your glass houses. But if you don't put it in the public domain, संघर्ष का की फायदा है जे नहीं खून डोलिया तो किसी ने दसिया नहीं कहानी के की होया. Then there's no, है ना?
No, exactly. If you don't know the history about it.
But at the same time, Game Love was a propaganda job.
Okay.
Because growing up, and I was like the 84 speaker, and we used to have a torrent of like resources all against us.
Yeah.
Everything was against us. We didn't have the internet back then. I mean, Carnage 84 was the first website, wasn't it, that said something and I in a hack. And Burning Punjab, Austin was my mate, killed him. Unta marta. So Beer Singh Austin nu mar ditta.
Was it the person who made the film?
Huh?
No, I'm thinking Bleeding Punjab.
Bleeding Punjab, that one. Burning Punjab. No, Burning Punjab. Burning Punjab was the website. It was a news website. It was a news portal. It was the first news portal that was like right on it.
Yeah.
So Beer Singh Austin used to run that. And they killed him.
That was the same with the guy who ran This But This, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, This But This.
No, but I mean, but that's where most of us got information from This But This.
No, but This But This, he had other enemies, Anna.
I know he did, but what I'm saying is we had most of our information at the time coming through there, and still, that isn't even digitised now. I contacted him years ago saying, can I get hold of all your articles? I want to go through, because when I was writing that book about Sanjanal Singhji's, you know, the news reportings on Sanjanal Singhji and the Sangharsh at the time, I was like, well, I want to reference it with what's in the This But This, and they still haven't digitised anything. So it's still so far behind, and, you know, you can't get hold of that information. But as a 1984 speaker, where were you getting your information prior to any of this research coming on?
It was basic information we were presenting. It wasn't like nothing in depth like we do talks now. Yeah. It was really simple information. People weren't even willing to say the simple stuff.
Okay.
So that was the difference, Anna. But so we went out there, put our back out for ourselves to do these talks and stuff. And to be fair, the Sher Punjab guys actually used to do it as well.
Yeah.
They were the only ones, Anna and me. But other than that, no one else really did it back then. And so everyone else did like the sicky talks and stuff, but no one would touch the topic of 84, and but then the book was written, and then after that, like we did reflections on it as well.
Before the book, yeah, obviously the book's written. How did you get it published?
Oh, we did. We set up our publishers then,
Okay, that's
at
what
the
I want
same
to know.
time as releasing.
Okay. So how did you come
Game
about
of Love
setting
Game of Love was launched at Bedford Godera
up? Okay.
on the 30 years, was it? 2008, is it 30 years or 20 years?
Would have been 20 years, wouldn't it?
Or is it 78 to 2008? Come on, who's a mathematician? I'm bad at maths.
Fifth of December.
The Salana, on the 30 years of 1978,
That's right.
we launched Game of Love at that programme. Singh Sahib Babaji, Singh spoke from India through a Zoom call because we couldn't get him over. We had police on our backs because they thought we were going to attack someone in Ungari Dare on that night.
Okay.
Yeah, and so we launched the book on that night. And I can't remember what I was going to say now.
I was going to ask, how did
Yeah, the publication, yeah.
publishers
So then it was a decision, well, we didn't know anything about publishing really, so it was like, what do we do?
Yeah.
Ganshi House had set up, then
Yeah,
hangs
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
that's
them
it.
and them and that. So we were like, really, we need our own medium to do our books because we're not going to play to anyone's tune. And this was a propaganda job like the Indian books, and so ours was basically, this is our story.
Yeah.
This is the Sikh story of the Sangarish. This isn't nobody else. This is our view of it, and we're not going to water it down to say things, and so we set up our publishers a bit backstreet, we found a printer and we just printed the books, got ISBN and did it all, and since then we've advised a lot of other Sikh publishers have come about, but a lot of them do a bad job, so we're happy to share information and get them on the board to like print their own books, we don't really want to take on titles, but we don't mind. We've had a few books that we've rejected, and we've sent them to other places, but so our publishers were set up. Literally, I'd learnt from getting burnt, by Boston, ISYF and BKI, that I can't live under anyone's control or to a system, I can only live and breathe as an independent. So that's why I set up our publishers as well. So I had my own Jathebandi in a sense, that I could do anything with. It's my own clean slate, and I could do anything I wanted with it, and no, I don't answer to no one.
Well, you're not under anybody's thumb. You're not expected to do. We helped you, so you help us do this now.
So that was the real aim of it, and really to give the Sikhs their own printing publication house, which would do and not fear. So it's more about saying the truth without any holds barred, and obviously I've aged now, and I wouldn't possibly write things like I wrote them then.
Why?
But I think age it changes you, Like we're doing an update of reflections, but we're not changing a Game of Love. We're just leaving it as it is,
Yeah.
Because people have said to us like, make it flow better and change the language and stuff, but I don't see that. I don't want to make it a better book in that sense to make it better read.
Yeah.
Because the information is what makes the book anyway.
Exactly.
The stories, So that'll make it nicer to read, but it doesn't make it a better book.
Yes.
Because the content is what makes that book. Nothing else makes that book, it's the content, it's the Jeevnia, the sayings that speak up, and the singing, who give Gurbania.
Yeah.
So that was how our publishers came about and why we did what we did,
Well, what would you not look at adding? Obviously, since 2008, you would have learnt a lot more about other individuals or anything like that. Or I know there's other books out there that have come out recently.
I won't say who, but we've got a private project going on. So someone is writing a book.
That's fine.
Not a part of our publishers, who's writing a book about the Sangharsh.
Okay.
And the Sengh's done a hell of a good job on a lot of the research. We talk, we end up speaking for half an hour or an hour at a time. And so loopholes in the Sangharsh now, I'm having to fill up for him.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going out and doing interviews now, and I'm carrying on the work that he can't, and I'm going to travel if I can, across Europe, India, whatever I have to do, America, Canada. We've got funding, people putting money on the table, say go where you have to do, just do it.
That's good.
While the people are still alive and they're willing to speak to you, go and do it. So as a background, so I might do the research, and unless he says it in the book, no one's ever going to know that we did it, So we're doing that as a back project, and so like some of the stuff we were talking about before we started, the people I'm interviewing, so some of that stuff will go into there. So the continuation of Game of Love, or the philosophy of it, is going to continue, but possibly in another sphere.
Okay, what about Reflections on 84? Because that was the second one that I read of yours. How did that one come about? Because that's an interesting book, because I've read books prior, but there aren't many that start citing the white papers and things like that.
Yeah,
which you do.
Reflections of 1984 was simple as me not being able to sleep for 2 weeks after General Brar as a failed attempt of assassination on him.
Down in London,
Yeah. So he comes to the UK, gets slashed up a bit. Nothing happens of any real consequence, apart from 4 things in a singly going to jail, Hannah.
Yeah.
But I really got angry and I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks properly because he spouted his falsehoods again.
Yeah.
And that's what spurred me to write Reflections in 1984. And you probably don't remember, Cam. I wrote that book in 2 months.
Okay.
So in 2 months I wrote the book.
Yeah.
So literally I just cleared my desk and for 2 months I sat down and just wrote the book because all the research was in the back of my head anyway. So all the stuff was there. We already had it, all the paperwork and stuff.
So
Plus, because of the accusation from Game of Love, which really stuck on my head, was like, it's not academic. And so I made this academic.
Yeah.
And then when I wrote this, people were like, actually, you can write. Because they hadn't realised. It's like, I remember...
Because all the footnotes are there, everything's cited.
Yeah. I remember Sergeant Singh, do you want to say to you about Game of Love? It's rustic. Nick, it's rustic. Yeah. And I was like, he was trying to have a dig at me, and I said, tu bok lekla, tu lekna mariana. And he didn't write the book in the end. He was supposed to write a book, and so that was like our banter in the day, and then he did Rajuana TV. So he did something, but he didn't do the book that he was supposed to do, So I had those little sort of comments and at the back of my mind. So I was like, all right, I'm going to show you what I can do. So people were really shocked, like even my close circle, that I've been to Warwick University. It's not a Mickey Mouse university, top 5 in the UK. And Maharaj Kirpal fluke to get in there. But it's like, so I had the grounding, but my English is really bad.
Okay. So
people don't realise I really struggle with my articulation of words and stuff. So I've like forced my way to become an author.
Yes.
I haven't got the intellectual or English backing to do it really, so I've really forced my way to write these books, Hannah, and it's been quite hard as a struggle as well, Hannah. But so Reflections, 2 months I just sat down and they knew the call them but Artina Chuta Kutte Hannah and move band kar diya. So it was as simple as I was like, Han main jad tak meri neend nahi na puri hundi han main tete han kadna. So that's what Reflections was, Hannah. And there was some tricky chapters, and I look at it now, and we're going to heavily edit the book. We're doing a second version, which I'm trying to be doing since last year, and I don't get the time. So we're doing the updates on that, but on an academic basis. Okay. So the Jeevania might not come into that.
That's
right. So you get what I mean? So we're updating that and bringing it back up to date to bring it represent that book, Hannah. And so we are doing that with Reflections. So Reflections is really about addressing, in an academic way, the actual accusations and everything. And back then, when Brad got stabbed, there was a...
Barely got stabbed.
Yeah, but there was a debate on the Asian Network. Nihal had the show at the time, Anna. And yeah. So I went on, and Lord Indarjit went on, Mark Tully went on, and Brad was first confirmed for the programme.
Okay.
And he pulled out because I wanted Brad on that show, Anna.
Yeah.
Because he did come on one of the interviews, and one of the cousins did ring in as well, Anna. Like, we used to have to lie when you go on the Asian Network because, like, they were really like biased, and on the Asian Network, they always want Sikhs who can't speak or who fumble their answers and mess things up. So I sent on Ranjit Singh once from the Council of Khalistan, and he's a lawyer. He murdered them. They never called him back. So even me with that show with Tully and Nihal, it's on Basic Sikh on their channel, and I did mess up at one point, but it was really sly how they set it up. So I was sitting in Birmingham, they were in London. And then after an hour, they just kicked us out of the studio. And the show carried on.
Okay, so they could say...
They said, it's booked now. They didn't tell us when we walked in that the room was booked. So I'm sitting in Birmingham, they're sitting in London when I'm having the debate, Hannah. Yeah. But it was really shocking that Mark Tully sounded like I was just arguing with the Indian government.
Okay.
And so it was really bad, Hannah. But that really shook me, the whole process of the Brad thing, the Asian Network and everything else. I was like, you know what, I'm going for these people now. Hannah. So that's what it was about. Reflections was a book like address all of this. And I really get angry when 84 comes around, when you have all these people sitting on social media not having the information. It's like, we wrote this book for you.
Yeah, of course.
Just take the paragraphs. And even the worst thing is when you go to programs and Khalistani programs, the Khalistani Sangat who are Sikhs or Singhania, they will buy tops with Khalistan written on them. No one will pick up your book.
Oh, I know. We know that.
And you're like, and even when you go to Diwans and stuff, it's like you get called to do talks, not because you're a good speaker, because no one else knows their stuff.
Yeah.
You have an argument with someone, no one knows how to argue. It's like, I've got Shahid Parwars in India who don't know anything about Darbar Sahib and live outside Darbar Sahib. It's like, it's so bad at our education level. We're supposed to be Sikhs, we're supposed to be educated. That's the whole point of being a Sikh.
That's the big problem. The level of education as a Sikh. Sikhs are supposed to be constantly learning. but that stopped a long time ago. And I tell you what, in somebody else's podcast, they say that if you want to pick up a number plate with the word "sing" on it, they'll pay thousands and thousands of pounds for that.
Yeah.
Try to trick a tenner for a book; it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So it's just our level of education. It's about materialism, showing off materialism, living in the world, but they don't want to educate themselves on either their background, the language. You know, I was watching a thing on Vice News today about a 93-year-old woman who's passed away yesterday, but she was the last individual that could speak her native language in Mexico. Nobody else knows how to speak that language anymore. The language is now dead. That's the last person gone. And if you're not careful, that will happen in our community with the knowledge of what's happened. That's just how it is. It's just how it is.
Yeah, go on.
Right. Obviously, you've got other books and things like that, but I'm not going to talk about it. The one big thing for me was you launched the Tuxal website.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
We only admitted that in the previous podcast
I know.
with you.
Well, I didn't know
but
that.
No one knew that.
I didn't know
because we
that.
kept that quiet.
I didn't know that.
Again, we went to Babaji and we said, look, we should make a website now. So internet just started really on a low level thing, and we should make a Tuxal website. Babaji said, because obviously Babaji trusted me, and I said, God, Lord. So we started the website, and we had a local internet company run by Sengs here in Milano. So they did the design, and we just went to Gurbani Par Darpan and just took the basic information of the Guru Sahib's Barnali and stuff, and the Jathadars from the Tuxal, and just translated that. So that's what was the basic website first. And there was a guy who was studying at Newcastle University or something, and he had Tuxal.com registered. So as part of his degree, he was making that website.
Okay.
And we said to him, do it for your degree, but then shut it down and give us the domain. So I can't remember what happened with that website. But at the time, that was the only 2 websites. And then obviously we got dominanttuxal.com. And since then, there's 3 or 4 and different ones have popped up and stuff. But yeah, so that's all it was really. And then when Babaji passed away in 2004, I didn't want anything to do with it politically.
Okay.
So I stepped back and I gave all the control to someone else. So I'm not a web developer or anything, Hannah. I just gave the content. And I gave the control to someone else. And that person ran it for I don't know how many years, Hannah. But then he had a core team of another 2 Seva that was helping him run the website.
Okay.
And then they came to me, and they're really close to me. And all this time they'd kept it quiet, and they were the ones really doing the work. And so then it came back to me, and then I was like, Minu Sharamai in it. It's like, Tu pehla na thakarai seva, now it's come back to you. So I then said to them, look, I'll pay for the subs for the updating or whatever, Hannah. And in the end, they didn't take no money anyway. They still haven't to this day. I don't think I've ever paid anything, Hannah, from a car publishers or anything. And so the control came back to me. So we took back control, and then we've had to. There was a lot of misinformation that was put on the website, so it took a hell of a lot of time, and still might be some mistakes on there. So we're still going through that process of readjusting the website to make it accurate, because a lot of things happened over the update period when I left.
Okay.
Where things were taken from pages and things like that, just added and not vetted properly.
So the website's with you now?
Yeah.
Are we going to get any updates on them? And I know what you're going to say. What do you want me to update?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the first thing you're going to say.
No, we're still I'm going back to the Guru Sahib's Purnali because some of that was messed up as well.
Okay.
And then after that, we don't know, and I can't say, Anna, because I've got too many projects on.
Yeah.
The ideal would be to start doing subtitles of the Katha.
Yeah.
Of Mahapurkha di Katha, Sant Kirtar Singhs and things like that. That's the ideal, Anna.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I can do it. I'm skilled. I do that, Hannah. I do subtitling anyway, Hannah. But I just haven't had the time.
Yeah.
So that's always, and it's like a guilt in the back of my head for this 10 years or whatever, Hannah, that I've never done it. So the Sochin has always been there to do it. And 2 Sengs got in touch with me last week, and they're going to do something else in ones, Hannah.
Okay.
So they're starting that, and they asked me for speeches and stuff. So I sent, because the Tuxal website, even though we don't do anything with it, it's got a massive library of things on there. So I'd say, and there's found all the speeches and everything on there, Hannah.
The speech has not been translated.
They have.
Singh Garjan.
Yeah, no, Singh Garjan Punjabi, then Ranbir Singh Sandhu's done it as well in his book in English,
Yeah, somebody's done it.
Yeah, he's done them all in English. But he's been quite sly, so when we get Mirta Kopayo Tanasasa, he misses the part out when they get brought back to life, and Musan someone. So he's missed that part out. So you translated it, but then you missed out a bit because you didn't agree with it, and I didn't agree with the Jampika. What exactly?
Best bit. That's the best bit of the lot.
So I've got a few kathas like that, but it's just that thing, and I don't know. Because I can do the software. I've done the software subtitling, and so I do all that anyway.
Okay.
For other Sant stars, Anna. So I've done that anyway. But it's like the Tuksar website. It just never came about, and it's like things get in your way. I know other projects in life and money. You got to live in, Anna.
You got to prioritise, haven't you?
Yeah. So that's my biggest regret over the last 10 years. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
So I've got one Gatha tagged on my WhatsApp chat at the moment to say I'm going to do this one. It's only like a 15-minute clip, but it's like, I'm going to do this one. It's pinned at the moment, but it's still not started.
I know how... there's one of the early podcasts I put on about Sanjay Nelson, when they're going through Guru Gobind Singh's life. Jeevani, so Sankir, but so fast, it's 10 minutes long. It took me 3 days to subtitle that.
Yeah.
So I know how, especially some Gurdar Singhs are not as fast, but some Guru Singhs are really, really quick.
Yeah.
Sanjay Nelson are really quick when they're talking.
Really fast, yeah.
So when you're just pause.
Yeah, but the problem you got as well is like the screen time in it.
Yeah.
Someone can't read that subtitle. So either you're going to have to slow down Sanjay Nelsing's speech, or you're going to have to stop the speech and then put the subtitles in for people to read it.
Subtitles are in, but the subtitles overtake the whole page.
Yeah, but
YouTube.
Can they read it in that time? And it gets really complicated.
Not my problem. Hit pause.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do it like that. You see, that's
their problem.
Yeah, so the way we do it, if we do the subtitling, we'd make sure they can read it, and we'd have to engineer some way of doing it.
Yeah, you'll have to. I don't know. I just know how much work that is.
Yeah.
You've mentioned a couple of people during this talk. You mentioned Sanjay Singh Ji. You mentioned Bhagwanji already, and Bob Tarkishan. Tell me about your life in associate with Mahapurushs and Pracharas.
Yeah, see, it's a bit strange because I don't know what it was with us as brothers, as children as well. Like I've said, like we've sort of like a Hindu Punjabi background,
Yeah.
But we were always like, from a young age, just like really gutter.
Yeah.
For no apparent reason, to say we're not going to matha to any banda.
Yeah.
We only believe in Guru Granth Sahib.
Okay.
That was just like a natural, I don't know what it was, Pichhle Sanskar or whatever, So for us to become like Sant Upashik was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because we were never expected it, because we just rooted like that. I don't know what it was, from being kids. And
well, I saw that with Gurjeet Singh as well.
Yeah, so
he's the exact same.
So even Babaji saying Harkwale, even though he stopped me eating eggs and whatever, so I had darshan of Sant Dalir Singh when I was a kid.
Okay.
Because my dad was ill, my mum used to go to like numerous sants and sadhus to try helping him and getting him cured and whatever. I had to get shabds and do part and stuff,
Yeah.
I remember the first time I went to Sant Dalir Singh, he's in Wolverhampton Kutia here, where they used to come and stay at the house.
Yeah.
And I knew my mum was going to make matha dek to him.
Yeah.
So I must be like 7 or something, or 8 at the time, So we go into the room, into the door, and they're sitting on the bed, or they're lying down on the bed, and Bhagwanji's standing up or something, And I'm standing in the door, like a little stubborn kid in it, because I didn't want to matha dek. So Mum just pushed me from behind, and she pushed me, and I went and hit the bed like this. Because you're a kid in it, he pushed you in it, and then and I don't know what they did that day, because what it is with a sant, if you do something stupid or really stupid or really weird, they'll latch onto you.
Of course they will.
And they'll make sure they would have seen it happen, and like me flying across the room and bang. Yeah. And I was like, Hanta ho gaya nahi, Hanta bibi puri nahi, khoshiya nahi, damara nahi, Hanta munda take ho gaya nahi. And like I didn't believe in him, so I had darshan then as a kid, 7 years old, whatever. And I remember going to Harkwale. I don't know if it was then when they came the first time or after, but Harkwale always used to have a photo of Sant Dalir Singh on the mantelpiece. Whichever house they stayed at, they always used to have that. So that was like always at the back of my mind.
That you had seen him, and that was your...
Yeah, and so take Kamalpreet when I'm 16, get involved with Boss and whatever. ISYF sort of locally, Yeah. But then I got more involved with the Kankirtanyat and the Bubbers.
Yeah.
So even though like Australian by ISYF one day, we got involved with the Bubbers and the AKJ. And then Baba Tarkishan came to the UK. And Babaji was more about like, this is the guy who's the leader of the Sant Samaj.
Yeah.
This is the guy who's the leader of the Tuksar.
Exactly.
This is the guy in place of Sant Nal Singh. So for me, it was not even like a Shankar.
You gravitated towards him.
Yeah, it was just a given.
Yeah.
That I'm going to follow Baba Tarkishan. So it was never like even a question.
Yeah.
So the Sharna was even there before even saw them, So that was just always a given. And then I knew at the same time that all the sadhu sants go to Babaji for salah, for everything. That goes, everything. Basically, you got a problem in the Qam, it goes through them.
Yeah.
But then we started seeing it in front of our eyes, and we saw the pratak, we saw the Kala and everything, unfold in front of us, as kids. And after that, my brother had like an issue, and like he went to university, he tried too hard in his summer and whatever, had a bit of a breakdown and stuff.
Yeah.
But then he'd had darshan of like Harjinder Singh in that period.
Yeah.
And obviously, because I was close to the Kankit and Jathan and stuff, I remember went to see Bairama Singh at a arrangement. I said, like, this is going down at home, and Bairama Singh just laughed it off. But then he came back and he was like really worried,
Yeah.
and he goes, tell him to do job by himself. Bairama Singh like, Sara chera udde aase when he came back to me, and I was like, Han pada lagga in it. And Bairama Singh said that to me, so I was like, okay. So Bairama Singh was really worried at that point. So first he laughed it off, but then obviously with his antarjam or whatever, his kamai, he must have looked at, and then he came back. And then my brother was saying like, they're Puran Purk, innit? Harjinder Singh ahna. So he's the one who took us there really. So we went to India. So he wasn't like fully like right until we went to India, So we went to India, and I remember I asked Babaji and Babaji Singh, like, I'm going to go there and whatever. Babaji didn't, like, he just ignored me.
Okay.
They didn't say anything, and it didn't say good or bad. They was like, I got a bit confused, like I'm going there. And so it was 96 was when the Sikhi camp happened, and I went to India that year.
Yeah.
So I missed the Sikhi camp. And I can't remember if it was 96 or 97, like, it was after Babaji had been here in the UK, that I went to Shahbad. So Harjinder Singh was alive at the time. And Bhagwanji was sort of dealing with the Sangat, everyone that used to come knew.
Yeah.
And it was a really hard dera to stay at as a kutia, because literally it was like a monastery, silence.
Okay, yeah.
So back then, while Harjinder Singh was alive, it was silence. Unless they had a program on like the Khanpats and stuff, outside of the Khanpats, silence everywhere, in the langar, in the diwan, silence Simran everywhere. You can't talk. If you're going to talk, you have to take someone to like a corridor and talk in hiding, basically. So it was like, for us, like, we brought up like Gatha Kirtan, we were going crazy. We went there, like, we can't take this, so silence everywhere. How are you going to deal with this? So it's proper bhakti level, isn't it? Because you're like, your mind goes crazy,
like the Buddhist Vipassana, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's how they had it set up. And all that used to happen is the Kirtan on All India Radio for the Darbar Sahib used to come in the morning with the Hukamnama for half an hour. But other than that, silence all day.
Yeah.
And we went to the programme, Abhyas Puja, and I remember we did Rola Jap Sahib the Rola, so it's Khanpat, and Bhagwanji did Katha to us for 3.5 hours.
Oh yeah, okay.
The first time I met him, and I sat down with us.
Was Harjinder Singh not doing the Katha?
No, Harjinder Singh was really old then, and
it's that age, yeah.
They put him in a wheelchair, taking the diwans, and they were sort of bedridden a lot as well, But Harjinder Singh, they was at the time, they literally, Bhagwanji were making them stay.
Yeah.
They really wanted to leave the earth, and they were done,
Yeah.
So that's why they were like uninterested, So I never actually spoke to Harjinder Singh ever.
Yeah.
My family had, but I never did, So the darshan and stuff in Sangat at the time, but Bhagwanji was my like go-to, So Bhagwanji spoke to us for 3.5 hours at that time. And me and my brother, the middle one, we didn't matha take to Bhagwanji because of that thing, We were like, we're only going to matha take if we get bhavna,
Yeah.
And then I remember listening to Harjinder Singh's Gatha in the programme, and they were talking about Shadju Bhagat, and there was Saki, and they were saying Guru Nanak Maharaj that you do 8 hours Bhakti in a day. Yeah. And you do,
me out the door.
yeah, which is saying that, but they were saying like 8 hours is the Pratan Maryada, where you do 8 hours, like you do 6 hours in the morning, 2 hours at night, and the rest of the day you do work.
Yeah.
I was blown away. Like, I think the masita, can't do no manana, and
put our head on fast.
Yeah.
Just to get through it.
Yeah, so that sort of rocked me, So that's when me and my brother got bhavana, the middle one. The older one already did, because he had his own little experience. And then we must take to whatever, and then after that he just like starts, you sort of shift and rotation in the systems. But while Babaji Singh was alive, I had more bhavana in Babaji.
Yeah, of course.
Because they were my first go-to.
Yeah.
But then when Babaji passed away, really your prema and sharda for anyone or Guru Sahib should always increase over the years.
Yeah.
So because I had a longer period with Bhagwanji, that increased with them.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? If Babaji had been alive and carried on, then that would never have changed, So because I had more time with them, so that changed, and then you fear the Mahapurukhas as well and stuff, So it's really different, Plus Babaji Singh was really too smart. Babaji never gave you Kulle Prashad.
No.
Babaji would do it gupt. You wouldn't even know it's happened, You wouldn't know anything. Bhagwanji did it in front of our face.
Okay.
But we'd go to India. They'd tell us everything we've done. They'd answer all our questions in an hour of Katha without us opening our mouths.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, that was Pratak in front of us. We were like, Babaji, we didn't even know. what they've done half the time, है ना सानू पता तो नहीं होता सिंगा unless we actually spoke to them about something, we had no idea of where they saved us or why they stopped us. And apart from the spoken butching, but Babaji was like, they were like a silent assassin, है ना. So they would have done a lot of stuff. We know that ourselves as Gursicks, है ना, but we don't know what that is.
Yeah. For your yeah.
Yeah, so we don't know what that is, and but that was the difference, and so Bhagwanji was like direct and open.
Yeah.
Whereas Babaji was a gupt really. They would only speak when spoken to, otherwise they wouldn't, Anna.
So who else are those the main Mahabharata and Prachars you've spent your time with them over the years?
Yeah.
By default, now that Bhagwanji's gone, is there anybody else now that you
No.
pounded towards, or you just keep your shraddha towards them still?
No, there's no one now. But the thing is, it's good as well because your shraddha should always be Guru Sahib.
Exactly.
The Mahapurukh's there, Anna.
No, but it does. But you have somebody to guide you towards it.
Basically, because what people don't understand, like even the Nirmala Mahapurukh, if they're right, because a lot of Pakandis out there.
Yeah.
But Babaji and Bhagwanji, they only joined me with Guru Sahib.
Exactly.
And increased my red and Bani and whatever, Anna, with Guru Sahib. So that was their only function. Yeah. And now that they've gone, I need to step up now to Kamal, what they've told me anyway. I don't need anything else. So I've been to another Mahapurukh here, Anna, and they've just had a go at me. They just turned around and said, you're Bachchan, you've got Sangude Babaji, you got Sangude Bhagwanji. Just do what they told you. You don't need anything else. Yeah. So it's like, and it's reaffirmation, Anna. You need that sometimes to like put you back on, Anna. So it's partially, it's like, and they're not gone. That's the other side of it, Anna. Babaji's not gone.
No.
Bhagwanji's not gone, Anna. They're still here, Anna, and they still help us out as well, Anna, if we ask for the help. So they're never gone anyway. It's just like they're always there anyway. But it's down to you, Anna, to sort that out. So if you've been really bad, you get darshan of being really good in it. So it's like one of the others, in it. But if you're in between, you don't get nothing, Anna. So it's one of the others. But they're there anyway. So I have no like qualms in terms of Bhagwanji going now.
Yeah.
First it was really hard, and like for the first year and stuff like that, I was like depression. Even Babaji, like I remember, I could never cry for a year, and then after that I couldn't stop crying, Anna. But Bhagwanji was always like really hard, and even the last 6 months as well, things happening in India and stuff as well, Anna. But I think it's good as well, Devashura, because that's what we've got to realise, we're all going to go, Anna. So otherwise we just keep doing Bapa, don't we?
Exactly.
I think we can live forever.
Yeah.
So that's really it, Anna, for my sort of Sikhi system. That was it, and that's where it's going to stay now. It's full on Guru Sahib, Anna. That's where my guide is, Anna.
Yeah, that's right. With regards to, obviously you've mentioned the main teaching of all the Mahapurukhs is Guru Dina live journey.
Yeah.
You know, that's who's going to guide you, that's who's going to take you there. Are there any prominent teachings, that anything else that they've given you that you recall to this day, or you live by, or you remember all the time? There's going to be some personal ones you never want to talk about, obviously.
I think, see, because Bhagwanji used to just push that day again, Diana. So 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But our Sikh systems lost the 2.5 hours.
Yeah, of course.
The 2.5 hours they're talking about is 2.5 hours Simran, not the Nityanim. So it's 2.5 hours Simran plus your Nityanim.
Yeah.
And I think the Sikh systems lost that. So even the Taksar, like everyone says Bani Pura, Bani there to get your Naam Guru Mantra going.
Yeah.
So if the Bani Padna is easy, the Naam Japna is the hard part, the Simran, Hana. So that's why they can't keep just have got it partially right, but then they don't do Gatha and they don't do Vichar of the Gurbani to an extent, Hana. So everyone's got their systems, Hana.
There's only one group that's got that right. And you're going to look at me and go, what are you on about?
Go on.
But the Namdharis have.
Got what right, sorry?
They do, their Nityanam is, they've elongated their Nityanam, and every day the amount of time that they have to do Naam Jap as well, they have that system still.
Oh, they might have that right. They might have that right, yeah. I'm not denying that.
They have right.
Yeah,
because when I went there and I stayed there, I was the only place you're like, man, these lot don't stop. I want to go and play in the fields or the hockey halls or go and have a look at the Namdhari Seas or whatnot. Yeah. But they're like, right, okay, first Nityanam comprises of Akala Sastha, Chandi Divar, Ugardanti, Slokmala Noma, and obviously they've got everything in the evening as well. But then they have to do 2 hours Naam Simran as well.
Yeah.
Silent Naam Simran, everybody sat there. And then in the evening as well, and you're just like, okay, this is a bit too much for me. I'm going.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that.
But that's what I'm saying. They're the only ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
Where that still exists.
No, but the thing is, you have to praise. You are right. If they're doing it right, then it's right, Hannah. But the thing is, I think as a Sikh system, that's what we've lost, Hannah.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think Sikhs need to do, Hannah.
No, that's fine. So those are the two prominent teachings as far as you're concerned. You've had from Mahaprabhu, can you keep going? But you've mentioned Babaji Singh. We've mentioned it on the old podcast. You started the body singing. And I know you've said it came back because you're just like, the year's gone.
Yeah.
Can you just, I know we've talked about it before, can you just quickly go over how that started?
So Babaji's Barsi, really, me and Harjinder Singh, Ed, as he's called, I'm called Nick for some reason. But anyway, Nick the Banana. But anyway, we obviously, Babaji passed away 2004, 2005, a year later. We just like, let's do a program, let's do a Barsi. So Nanak Sir got the Plek, Wellington Street in Warsaw. That was our local. So we just did it there. And we didn't expect it to turn into this like massive international program. So it was just more about a bhavna because we'd lost someone, Anna.
Yeah.
So that's how we started it, and that's all it was really for us, Anna. And then too many people trying to get involved, too many Seva, so then we started giving people duties to do Jar Sahib and other things because we had too many people.
Yeah.
So we had to give people something to do, otherwise. So then Bille better than Mastana.
Yeah.
So then we started giving people Jar Sahib duties, other duties, langar and things. And then it sort of just dwindled out, and then power struggles and stuff, and then we just walked away and just like carry on, Anna.
Yeah. So at the moment, your role in that is you don't have a prominent role. You just help out whenever they need.
No, I just go voluntarily myself and do whatever Seva I can, Anna. I can get involved and start kicking them about, and we still do that to an extent if things go wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but other than that, no, I've got no role in that, Anna, now. So it's just like not for me.
That's all right. Right. Last thing I want to. Well, actually, second last thing. You've got a couple of projects running. One was on yesterday, which is your new Gurbani Arts.
Yeah.
What have you got going on at the moment that you're doing?
Oh gosh, Cam.
Yeah, exactly. And don't worry, the next question after this is...
My head hurts just thinking about it.
The next question after that is, what are your future plans and projects? So tell me about what you're doing now.
Some of the things I can't share, Hannah. But what am I doing now?
Well,
the Gurbani art class.
Yeah.
With my Santhya lessons, which I do one-to-one, Anna. So we don't do classes because students never practice. But anyway, with the one-to-one lessons, I always do some sort of art with the students, or start talking about the shop that they're on and things like that. And sometimes we don't even do the Santhya. We just talk for an hour.
Yeah.
And sometimes the student needs that because they got stress and they got other things going on, Anna.
Yeah.
So I'm getting paid for like stress relief for the students sometimes, and no Santhya.
I'm like a psychiatrist.
Even my nephew, like when I did the lessons in India a few months ago, he's like, "What do you do in your lessons? You don't even give any Santhya." It's like, because they don't realise the people who are paying me just to talk to me, it's not just about Santhya. They're like latching on to me for everything,
Yeah.
So we do that anyway. And then I had a new student who have like a Benji from Warsaw, one of my mates' wives, and like other sadly Banji, we like the whatever Rasaldani and stuff like that, Hannah.
Yeah.
And she was like, I don't know any art. She's like, I do my name. You need to teach me the art.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, oh gosh, man. So I was like, okay. So I just turned it into a class.
Yeah.
So I thought, rather than do one-to-one with her, I'll just turn it into a class. And we're testing out Mighty Networks as a platform, which is like a private social media thing, innit?
Yeah.
So we're testing that out. It's a paid platform where we have to pay, innit?
Yeah.
So that's what we charge for people to join the class. It's only like £10, £2.50 a week, but we're paying subscription a month to the company to use their platform.
Yeah.
And then we're using like not the full service that we should be, so we should be paying more. So it get complicated with the money. And then I've got to take some money. Of
course you.
Yeah, but the thing is, we're blessed with the Guide Publishers, the Sikh Learning Trust. I get paid, but I don't take money for everything anyway. So I like make sure I'm always poor and like, setting my own wages low, like not charging for certain stuff. But so the Gurbani art class came about that. I have done Jap Sabdi Gatha previously in a class.
Yeah.
And it was, I don't know what it was. I don't know if I'd done a lot of Simran before I did those classes. Those recordings are off the Richter scale. They're just really weird. And some people have got access to them. But it's not the full recordings, are not there. Because what happened was I told him they can't record it. One of the guys started recording it on his phone. And he started recording. And then like I started going to like criticising different Jathabandi. We start talking about like different realms and stuff like that. So we've got the recording somewhere, but it's not the full set, Hannah.
Yeah.
Plus it's like me uncut.
Yeah.
Which you and me uncut is really bad for the public, Cam.
It's good.
No one can handle that, yeah. So they were never released, Hannah. So that was done, but it was like a private set, Hannah. Because one of my students, he listens to him. He's listened to him like 4 times. He's like, these are just crazy, Hannah.
Yeah.
Because obviously I'm laughing and joking and cussing and whatever as well, Hannah. So it's probably a bit of a comedy show as well. But so those never got released. So the Gurbani Art now, we've started yesterday, the first session.
Yeah.
And in the first session, we just went through like the resources and the Gurbani, Sikh to the Max and things like that, and how the translations are and the Randavi Ali and stuff. And
Yeah.
so we did that, and then it's more like again, it's going to be discussion based. So we're going to start Jap Sahib the Art.
Yeah.
But I want to get them to do some work. So I've told them to go and read the Mool Mantra book. I said, I said it's up to you if you want to buy it or not, Anna. So I said I proved to Rick for Cam and like we...
Just get your copy and take photos.
Yeah. No, but I told them, I said, because I wanted to send them to something, and so we shared that in the lesson. So they can go and buy if they want. If they don't, they don't, Anna. But it's all, I've sent them off to say, like, go and find it, go and guard the art. And then I'll come back next week and then we'll discuss them. Then I'll give my version, Anna.
Yeah.
And then from there, we're going to freelance it because we might just put up the art from everything.
Yeah.
So Sant Singh, Manmohan Singh,
Yeah.
Professor Saib Singh, Freedcourt, and then just go through the different art and say, look,
And that's,
this is what these are the different ones saying.
there is a grant on the Sikh Book Club
Yeah,
by, and it's on Gurmat Fachad. It is over a gig.
yeah.
It is Jabji Nisan by Raja, I forgot his name, but it's 8 tikas in there,
Yeah.
and that's what he does. And there are 8 Prantham tikas. Like Kavi Santok Singh's, Garb Ganjani.
Oh, Garb Ganjani, yeah.
There is one by the Nirmale. There's the Freedcourt as well.
So how does he do it in there, though?
Have a look through, but that's what he does. So where you
Yeah,
get,
we ain't
where
going
you
through
get
that.
It's
too,
really
yeah,
depth.
yeah, it's too much.
It's like 1,000 pages.
Yeah, it's too much. So what we're gonna, I'm freelancing at the moment because I've not prepped even the next week's session, Anna.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how we're gonna take it because I usually just stick to Freedcourt, Anna.
Yeah.
So that's the easy way for me. But I don't want to turn it into a teacher teaching a lesson.
Yeah.
I want to keep it open, and I've told them they can interject and interrupt me whenever they want and stuff, Anna. So it's at the moment we'll see how it goes, Anna. So we've got.
Paiswak Raj has done the.
Yeah, he's done the Katha.
He's done the Katha.
Yeah, so they can go and listen to that, and now Jagrajis as well and things like that. So they've got that out there. So it's more about me giving them the tools to go and do it themselves, where they feel comfortable to no longer attend the lessons. So the actual aim of that's the aim of the thing is to stop them coming.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Where they feel comfortable to actually do the study themselves. And I've said that in the first session, so I'm not sure where it's going to go. So we've done it. We've started that.
Yeah.
I've got the Narayan Hari Updesh Katha still going on.
Yeah.
So we've got 20 videos live and we've got 55 in abeyance being edited. Yeah.
Okay.
And we're adding to that abeyance more and more. And then we've got the Gurmat class, which happens term time for 10 weeks.
Is that with the kids, yeah?
With kids and adults as well as parents as well. So we've got a mix of a group. But in that we've covered the Dharampoti from the Taksal.
Yeah.
We're Banjami Pasha now, so we've done the 3 books of the translation. So the 3rd book's going to come publication this year. I'm doing the final proof for that. And then we're going to start doing the audio book for that as well. And then the Banjami Pasha book's already out anyway by me and Kuljit Singh. Yeah. And then I've got to find content for Shemes Atme Nome Pasha, which I don't know where I'm going to find it from. I need to do that for the lessons. So by the time we've finished...
Shemes Pasha is in from Suraj Prakash and things like that.
I don't know where I'm going to get it from.
It's one of the biggest...
No, what I'm saying is I need to translate something into English to be able to use it for the lessons.
Okay, the one I'd say if you're going to do it for the lessons is Surdite Justin's Gurbalas Pasha Shimi, because rather than in bingo, he goes through every Saki and writes the Saki down, so you can just translate those. That's what I do.
Yeah, but you're Cam in it. I need to do a breakneck Nick section.
No, you can do that. No, but what I'm saying is he talks about the Ratani Ansu.
Yeah, no, but what is Cam?
We need
to Shemes Atme Nome, so I'll have a look at that when it.
Obviously, Guru Chamatkar as well.
But he hasn't got anything in there. I've already looked at it.
Surdite Justin's.
Yeah, Chamatkar. I bought the book here, and then there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
They just take you to Jotte Pasha or Banjari Pasha, which I've already done.
You got more in Macliffe's. McAuliffe's
are they're a bit dead in it.
But yeah, we've still got more in there.
I'll have a look, Anna. Yeah. But at the moment, so we're going to have to do that. So we'll have a full set on that Sparchanya of books with the God publishers as well, sooner or later, once I start doing that. Sikh Learning Trust, we're putting up all the Gurmat class PowerPoints. So someone can just go on there, the first 10 are on there. We're going to post up the next 40 soon. So you've got 50 weeks of classes. And someone could just sit there and just read the PowerPoints. You don't even have to... So you've got Nanak's Itihas there.
Yeah.
So we've got multiple... formats, and so you got it in the books, you got it in the PowerPoints, you got it in audio books as well. So we've got that going on, and that's those are the major projects that I'm working on at the moment. Then reflections, updating that book as well.
Yeah, got that.
And so the research for that has mostly been done, but I need to integrate it into the book now. That's just taking a bit of time. And then we might
you got other things going on that you can't talk about.
Yeah, we might start this Atma Paramatma support network.
What's that?
Which we're going to cap. So like, out of like Babaji passing away and stuff, like I need help. Like, where do I get it from? So we've come up with this idea where we sort of set up a support network, but we're going to cap the membership to like 40 people, and we might use Mighty Networks for that platform.
Okay.
And it's literally, we'll just freestyle it first, like what do people want to do, how do they want to improve the sicky, what do they need, and how could we support them, and so it's not going to be like led by me. We're going to have other singers all singing on there, and we cap it and we say if you don't do 2.5 hours in it, then we'll Simran, you can't join. Simple as that.
Yeah.
And but with that, we don't think we even need to advertise.
No.
So we could just get in-house people who want it anyway. So that would fill up straight away. But then it's just developing that with the resources and things like that, and helping everyone on their spiritual journey of what they need. Because there's too many Pakhandis out there, so this is like making a Guru Dhamma following, but it's actually helping each other in their Sikh, so that's the aim of that.
Empowering one another.
Yeah, so we don't know where that will end up as well, so that's going to be in the next few months, and I'm on Chairman's kicking my backside to do it because he wants it for himself as well. Everyone wants it for themselves, but so that was partly the reason why we started this Mighty Networks with this Gurbani art class. We're testing the platform for other things.
Yeah.
But that real aim was always this support network, That was really the only reason we went onto these platforms and trying them out and stuff. So that might come about, and we might then stop our social media sharing.
Okay, why?
Because we're at the point of nearly being banned from Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
So we might then, on Mighty Networks,
you'll have your own network to do.
We can put Game of Love, we'll never get banned. We can bang it on there. Even if it's and we might make a
who are you doing the Mighty Networks through?
If we've got our own platform on there, so you can just join through Sikh Learning Trust, so you can just sign up.
Yeah, but your Sikh Learning Trust is through someone as well, isn't it?
No, Sikh Learning Trust is ours as well. That's our charitable arm, innit? Yeah.
So, mine is Web3.
Nah. Sikh Learning Trust can do it because they can do information and stuff, and it's a charitable organisation to do education on Sikh. No, but the reason being, Game of Love is a published book.
Yeah.
It's not banned.
No, I know that. I know that.
So, yeah. We'll talk about it later.
I can tell you how things are taken off and how to keep things up. So.
Yeah. So at the moment, we're dallying with the ideas of what to do with that platform, because we can be more open.
Yeah.
With what we say on there and what we do, Okay. And so the things that I can't talk about yet, I've not mentioned them anyway.
That's fine.
But we've got the podcast going now as well, and so Mankoj Marg podcast, which we've just done the logo and stuff. And
what's it called? Sorry.
Mankoj Marg.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got that going on. So we'll be doing that on a continuing basis because it's easier than writing books and stuff.
Yeah.
Sit down with someone like today and we just record it, so that's on the back burner. We've got one recorded done anyway. We're going to do another one in the next few weeks. So there's ongoing of that as well. And then I do my Samthya anyway, just on a paid basis, for employment. And we've got a Nami Badsha book.
Okay.
Nami Badsha is Gurbani, so we did the video series on Nami Badsha Shabds. But then Sukraj Singh's done the Katha of Slok Malanam, and then Seek to Inspire have got to give me that typed up.
Okay.
So they're supposedly typing it up and cleaning it, and I'm still waiting for that to then. They'll do the publication printed because we don't want to deal with the Gurbani B.
Yeah. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I know. You know that comment, the guy swearing at you the other day?
Yeah,
I saw it. I was like...
Yeah,
I saw the one like, and I was like, who's like it? I was like, Cam, there you go. The guy can't even say nothing.
I was like, I don't need to say anything here.
Yeah, but so we'll get Seek to Inspire to do the publication, print. Ebook we'll take, and as a car publisher, so we'll do that.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it at the moment. But the way I view it now,
any other future plans?
I'm gonna die doing my work, I just take it as a given now and accept it. So every day now I just put the pen and paper down at the end of the night and say that's it for today, so I just know I'm gonna die finishing projects. I'm never gonna finish them, so I just try my best every day, really, that's why I view it now.
I agree with that, and that's how I see mine. You're going to die halfway through a project.
Yeah. So future projects really is those that like the Das Bachanya books and filling in the gaps for the classes and stuff.
Okay.
And that's it really. If I ever get the time to do the subtitling of the Mahapurkha Tiksal, the Mahapurkha di Katha, I'll be over the moon if I actually ever did it, because I've never done it, just to get the time to do it as well,
Yeah.
And other than that, really, I think my aim is not to be a public speaker ever.
Okay.
again.
Why?
I feel comfortable just hiding behind the platforms. I don't feel comfortable anymore like going out and speaking. And I've had phases of that, but I feel more comfortable just sitting at home and doing my work.
Okay.
Because I think in the longevity of it, that work's going to lead to a better output, Hannah.
But do you not think that even the stuff that you've talked about today would be beneficial for the Sikh societies of today? You going out there and talking about these things. I know you're an 84 speaker then.
No, but the thing is, the Sikh societies can't think of you like this, yeah. I'm 44, yeah. Those kids are young enough to be my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they don't want a 44-year-old walking into a university to do a talk.
Why?
You wouldn't have wanted it when you were 20.
We did. We had like Roop Singh coming in, Shiv Charan Singh coming in. We had loads of people coming in. But
the thing is, for me, it's easy. I'd rather sit at home and not get invited. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, Hannah. But the thing is, like, I got invited to do a talk this week, Hannah, and I turned them down. And
if you don't do those talks,
they've got someone else.
You'll end up with like the Tiger Jatha talking and.
They ain't gonna, the Tiger Jatha.
What I'm saying is, you'll end up with the wrong people giving talks.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that, but the thing is, my worldview is a bit different, Anna.
Yeah.
Look, as a car publishers, the best and most powerful projects we've ever done on social media have got the least likes.
Yeah, I know that.
We know that. Because no one wants good at it.
Yeah,
everyone wants the clickbait. Everyone wants the tamasha.
Everybody wants the control.
Yeah.
That book, Controversy Sells.
So the way we view it, like, I mean, Jagraj used to have really got me, and I basically Kiana. Jagraj used to say to me, he's like, Jagraj is like a missionary, Hannah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out and convert the world.
Yeah.
And I was like, Kamalya, jo hona, wohi hona.
Yeah.
So my philosophy was different to his, Hannah.
Yeah.
So Jagraj is, and fair play to him, he did it till he died, Hannah. So he did it, Hannah. And he tried to convert the world, Hannah.
And he did.
And respect to him, Hannah, that's what he did. But my philosophy is very different, which is the people I'm going to help on the path, I'm going to help.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a few good contacts and a few good people in a network that I'm supporting or they're helping me, rather than have hundreds.
And I agree with that.
So even my students and stuff, Hannah, like, they're all like family to me.
Yeah.
So that's what we do, Hannah. So we will never let anyone down, Hannah, in their lives.
Yeah.
Rather than take on too many people and too many responsibilities, Hannah, just change the few people that you got around you, Hannah, and then it doesn't matter, Hannah, if you don't change everyone else. It's like Twitter's the perfect example. You write one tweet, everyone's killing you. 5 minutes later, they're all apologising because they misread the tweet. It's like, couldn't you just send me a message? Yeah, you know what I mean? And then you have to beat some people up through another tweet to then prove them wrong, Hannah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just gets stupid. But the thing is, the level of agyanata in our calm, it's like I had to do a tweet the other day, like, we do Seva the Kutia in Birmingham, Hannah.
Yeah.
Maraj Rupas, Tully on the Ramgre Godra City Centre, Birmingham, Hannah. And we went, took Maraj Roop, so we take the sloop from there and bring it back on the same day, sometimes the next day, Hannah. And so I see Maraj Roop leke chale. I'm carrying the sloop into the diwan. So the diwan, you walk in, Maraj is on the right, and the Sangat's sitting there, whatever. And there's one bibi sitting there on the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm walking in with the sloop. And I looked at her, and she's like staring at Maharaj, looking straight ahead. And I knew she's not going to get up.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'm not going to look at her, because I'm like, if I look at her, I'm going to give her a slap. So I'm not going to look at her.
Yeah.
So like, I'm there, carrying Maharaj, I'm not going to look at her. Because you got the king of kings on your head, Anna.
Yeah.
I mean, you got them on your head, and you think something, it's not nice for someone, Anna. Especially if it's a bad thought, Anna. So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to look at her.
Yeah.
But we had to walk around her. So she's sitting there at the front. We had to walk around her to get to the walkway, to go to the back of the diwan and go up the stairs, Anna, to the Sachkhand. Oh, teeny.
Yeah.
So I jumped on Twitter and I went on and said, can all Sikhs, as a bare minimum, if Sri Guru Granth Sahib comes into in your presence, you stand, or you matha take. Doesn't matter where it is, doesn't matter when it is, Anna. And the tweet exploded like 400 likes. And then you had other sayings and people saying in the comments, "Ke saadi qaum di eh halat hai ke eh keh nahi payi gal."
Yeah.
And that's how like bad we are as a qaum. We have to argue for things of bare minimum respect of Guru Granth Sahib, who's our Guru and our Isht, Hannah, that we have to tell people that. So it's like the level of like Sikhi Prachar and whatever. And what you're saying, I just take it on a philosophical level. Jino da sade hach palana.
Yeah.
Jere baar reh gaye. मेरा काम नहीं है कल जुग सुधारना मैंने तो अपने आप ना सुधार नहीं होता, you know what I mean? So that's what it is, like philosophically you look after yourself and you look after your circle.
Yeah.
And outside of that, because what it is, Cam, we went through wars, and as like kids from the age of 16, 17, Jathabandiyan, people trying to convert us to their view, then controlling the whole youth program for the UK, then even in terrorism cases and Kadguwad and stuff, and people setting me up to get me arrested. And that's both sides of the compendium. And I've got both sides of like people trying to get me arrested and fitting me up for cases in Indiana. And Guru Sahib di Kirpa, Mahapurkhan di Kirpa, I've always slid those things.
Yeah.
So when you've been in those spheres and stuff, and like even now, if there's a political situation in the UK, and the Jathabandi are Godra, and the Siane all there, if I walk into that room, this is not Hankar or my ego speaking, you can say it is if you wanna, but they hate seeing me.
Yeah.
Because they know I've still got the links and the networks to turn people in that room and to strong arm the room if we wanted to and say, no, John, we're standing this side, you lot are going to stand on here, and if you want to come to us.
Yeah.
So they really hate that still in me, and I'm like, मैं तो 10 साल हो गए मैं तो घर बैठा हां as the retire, because you know people, they read you with their own paranoia. Just because they could never give up the life of politics.
Yeah, but that's what it is. They're projecting what they are.
So they think you're still running things from behind and puppet mastering people and things like that. And you're not.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell's going on? Do you know what I mean? So like, even like, we haven't mentioned some of the, like Seek to Inspire. Like I was one of the founding members for Seek to Inspire. We set that up, and the camp that they did, I put down the deposit. They wouldn't have a camp, the first camp. You know what I mean? But the thing
still
is,
got
like,
another 3 hours. You keep going, man.
No, Sikh Youth Group Warsaw, and now I was 16. I was the general secretary of that, and the Sikh Societies, Wolfram, Warwick University, and then it's like, and then obviously the grimy stuff under the Karkuwad, like sort of linking up with Sengs and doing things, and I didn't do anything anyway, and I like in terms of, but you still worked with those groups to an extent, and there was no Sangharsh back in those days, so it was just politics really, and you helped out like whatever you could, so there's a lot of things that you can't mention, but like I think like Bhai Nirmal Singh was one of the like key examples for me of like a Gursikh who put his life into Seva.
Yeah.
And what no one realised, like he died of cancer.
Yeah, I know.
But what no one realised, his Mandi Avastha changed when he died.
Right.
So his actual state of mind before he died, he knew he was going to die for a while.
Yeah.
I remember he called me to the hospice. The hospice was down the road from like 50 minutes from my house, and he called me and he goes, I'm in the hospice. I go, that's it, you're dying now. Yeah. And he goes, not yet, I'm going to die next week. I got my heart in my bed, and so I drive 50 minutes because couldn't see me in it. So he's really like skeletal and that, like sort of his body frame, and I said, "Kinda money ani?" It's like we were laughing at each other, and he's going, "Nah." He goes, they're going to send me home. I go, "Why'd you come to the hospice for?" He goes, "Because I'm weak." But he goes, "They're going to send me home, and I'll probably die another 2 weeks, yeah, hana." I go, "फिर भी शुक्र है." I go, "तू मैनू सद्दिया मैं क्या पता नहीं पंगा पै गया नहीं मरना ला है नहीं." Because when you think hospice, you always think that, don't you? That he's gonna.
Yeah.
I know when Binder came to see him, and then I went and I left, and I remember at that time as well, Nirmal Singh was saying to me, leave boss, forget it. Because I'd gone back to university to do a master's at Aston. Yeah. So I'd got re-involved and trying to then force them back to like hand it over to the students. So I got back involved slightly, and it didn't work. And I remember Nirmal Singh saying to me, just leave it, what are you doing? Are you crazy? These people will hate you. Why are you trying to do this stuff, Anna? And then like that thing, like I said, he's calling me by Seva at the end and stuff, Anna. But I saw that change in him in terms, he knew he was going to die. He knew he was on a countdown. Yeah. And he was going to go, Anna. And like sometimes the Karam as well, it's like so convoluted and complicated, the Karam Chakrana. His family members took him to India, to Amritsar for 2 weeks. Yeah. And I said to him, Jo marji ho jave, te Sana Sahib jana. एक जापी साहब करना स्नान करना तू सांच नंग के तेरा 84 कटेगा और जो मर्जी हो तो 2 हफ्ते है go San, he couldn't go Sansai. Right. He couldn't get to Sansai. So he gone all the way to Amritsar, gone on a plane, and he couldn't get to Sansai, which is literally 5 kilometers away, and he's like family, whatever things went on, and like he just never got there. He tried his level best. Now I Ghana Kardas when he came back. I was like, what the hell? I was like, I should have just gone and dragged him myself. So, but his Mandi Avastha completely changed, and so that was like really refreshing to see someone who put all his life into Seva. Yeah. Running Sikh sites, running around the country, doing programs. And he did a lot of stuff behind the scenes with Babaji, which no one really knew until like towards the end. But he like that Seva put forward at the end, so his Mandi Avastha changed, and you could see it in him. Yeah. A lot of the Guru Sikhs around didn't realise, and I remember they called us, said he's going to die tonight. and he's going to do shenanigans. We didn't go. Like some of us who were really close to him, we didn't go. Like, how can we go and watch the guy die? Innit?
No, exactly.
So we didn't go, but a lot of the good Sikhs did, and like he did a shenanigan about 12 o'clock midnight, and then they did his nittaname,
Right.
and literally passed away after an answer. So but the thing is, I saw the change, so I was quite happy with his progression and as a good Sikh. So his Mandi Avastha and everything changed. So that Seva all paid off in the end of that. And he was a really bad gossip. Really bad gossip. You know, like if you tell the truth of people and their life, but at the end it all paid off. He's Seva and the end to the calm, he changed his Mandi Avastha. That's all we can hope for, that we make progress in changing our mind.
Yeah.
Have we done? We haven't done 3 hours, have we?
Well, no, we haven't.
2 hours. We're okay.
I'm not even at 2 hours, so don't worry. Just a very quick thing, Singh. For people who are listening to this, can you give your social media contacts and details so somebody's listening to this and they want to publish a book or they want to hear more about my books or anything like that?
Don't come to us.
No, they are coming.
Go to Carla's house. Go to our boy Ranveer instead. That's the publication house now. Don't come to a car publishers. If you want to try a car publishers, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, all jokes aside. So carpublishers.com, and then a car publishers on all social medias, our platform, and us on Twitter, and I don't know, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, even. So Pinterest. We're on all of them.
What about your contacts? If they just want to contact you and talk to you?
No, they can't. They're not allowed. So they can do that through a car publishers if they want, Yeah. And everyone assumes I'm the admin and everything, but I'm not.
No,
We've got joint
I
admins.
realised that the other week.
Yeah, we've got joint admins and a lot of the accounts now. But yeah, Twitter will probably be the best. Harjinder 108 is my Twitter handle. So they could contact me on that, or even on LinkedIn as well, if they can find me on LinkedIn.
Cool.
And Gurmukhi Tuition is my website as well. But that is actually me, so that's for the Santhya.
Gurmukhi Tuition.
Yeah, .com. So that's there as a 100%, and it'd be me on that one as well.
That's fine. Sir. Right. Is there anything you want to add to what you said? Because quite obviously you'd missed out loads of bits earlier. I'm quite happy for you to keep going.
Like what, Miss Wara?
Well, you just said. You said. Well, I also did Seeks to Inspire. I also did, this, and this at college, and
yeah.
Is there anything you want? Is there anything that we've not covered that you want to add to?
Yeah, I think Baba Talk Singh it was Pratak, all the Mahaprabhu went to them,
Yeah.
But Sant Dalal Singh was the same.
Yeah.
So all the Mahaprabhu went to Sant Dalal Singh for advice as well. So in the end, I had like 2 Mahaprabhu that all of the Mahaprabhu were going to.
Yeah.
For advice and stuff, So I saw a photo of Gyandev, and I was like seen as the Nirmala Sampradaya head.
Yeah.
And someone sent me the photo of him in his camera, and he's got a massive swarup of Bhagwanji and a massive swarup of Sant Dalal Singh. Yeah. So like Mahaprabhu know who Mahaprabhu are. So even Babaji Singh Radha Sahib, when he passed away, Babaji Singh before he passed away.
I've got a picture there now.
Yeah, but Babaji Singh said, and Sant Dalal Singh after as well, So
even if you go to Bora, in the Bora side, what they just Singh Ji there.
Yeah.
You'll see a picture of Sant Dalal Singh Ji there.
Yeah.
In Harbans was their main sevak. In his room, you got one with the Dalal Singh Ji's photo now.
Yeah.
So you'll see all that.
Yeah, so see, it's funny because Bhagwanji got me to do a lot of Seva, which we can't openly say what it was, Yeah. But Bhagwanji, they've got the YouTube channel Paramarat Sadhana now, which is putting up Kirtan. We put one katha of Sant Dalal Singh's on there now, 8 minutes without a picture, without a video. But so we've done the subtitles for that recently, They've not been put up yet. So we've said don't do it again, in terms of without the subtitles. So that's getting subtitled at the moment as well. So it's done really, but it's in draft form at the moment. So we're going through that to put that up on that channel as well, But I think, and we've got a kutia here in Birmingham. There's kutias across the world as well. We have monthly programs. There's programs we do in India as well as a legacy, from Bhagwanji. So that goes on as a program, and that's what we do as a Sangat. But then we've got that inbred in us, and have that 2.5 hours Simran we've got to do. And 3 golden nuggets from Bhagwanji was 2.5 hours Simran.
Yeah.
If you do that, if you believe everything that you own is God's, not your own, so you don't claim ownership over anything, and then you don't look at the opposite sex in the wrong way, then you're mukt. If you just do those 3 things in Galjug, it doesn't sound too hard, But if you do that, you're done. You can get mukti. But it's It sounds simple, innit?
Yeah.
But how hard is it to look at the opposite sex, innit?
Ik var calm there.
Yeah.
And then more there.
Yeah, no, but then the possession as well. It's possession, like,
possession.
I don't know what car you're coming in it. Like, I'll go outside now and get a house brick, start putting through the window. You'll be screaming, innit? Give me the goodie pan, did
Not
really
really.
goodie. Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, innit? Yeah.
I've got some really good insurance, so I'll
Yeah.
get all of
But do you know what I mean? But it's like we've got this kit out here, and I smashed one of the mics and like we did at the start, innit? But it's like that sort of thing, and it's like we don't really give up on our possessiveness in the world.
Yeah.
And I think as anyone listening to this and as a Sikh qawm, बाणी नहीं पढ़ूंगे नाम ना जपूंगे तो फिर छाड़ दो फिर कल जो नरका च जाना.
Yeah.
That's a simple fact, and we're not here to make a following. No, we're not here to be famous. We're not here to wear the biggest bana and the biggest kirpan in a divan. Yeah, we're here to actually do what Guru Sahib's told us. Like everyone's crying about Deep Sidhu at the moment on social media, but at the end of the day,
Yeah, I did see it.
Yeah,
I saw your post.
yeah, but it's like Deep Sidhu. He was a guy who listened to Prachar, Sangarshi Banda, and respect to him because he did it on the ground.
Yeah.
But what was he doing? He was just regurgitating what we've already been taught. He said it with his mouth.
Yeah.
We should all be living that anyway. So there's nothing different. And people saying, "Oh, he's died." Well, koi nahi. Kaum saadi mari ho nahi hegi. Sang paida hunde hunde hai. This is what Sangarsh is. It continues. We're not dead, Anna. We always continues. But don't. And the worst thing is for me is like that Delhi case of that rape of that
Yes,
girl,
the
Hannah.
girl.
Like everyone made a big thing. All the guy when Meru went and wrote on the wall, "Ke Sikh kaum badal logi." Kande kyon likhya? This is gonna get the controversy. We might have to cut this in it.
Go on, no,
But like
go
kande kyon likhya? Because for us who are brane bande, that brings back memories of Sodi getting
Yeah,
killed.
exactly. When Babaji put the names
And they wrote the names and
Yeah, exactly.
they said in
That's what
24
reminds me.
hours we're going to kill these people. Sodi de kaatla 24 घंटे marna hai, gaddi charna hai.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, when Meron writes that on the wall, that's bringing that memory back.
Yeah, that's what reminds me.
And like the people are in custody. What are you going to do? Where are you getting the revenge? The video apna bana ke ghar jaake beh gaya. Yeah, it's like pump jatha. But then everyone's like, well, at least it happened. At least it shows we're alive. Who's helped the family? Who's paid the fees for the solicitor? Going on social media, making a following and making you look good, it doesn't mean you've handled the case.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying Mero's a bad guy. He's a good guy. He's well-intended guy, and he's very good on a lot of things. But our qawm is very disconnected with Punjab and Delhi and India and what goes on the ground.
Yeah.
There's two different stories always. You see a public face and you see a private face. And then people said to me, my students, some of them I said it to, because again I'm a soapbox like I am now. And they said, well, how do we know if something's going on? I said, Sadi qawm mari hua.
Yeah.
I go, Delhi de Sikh mare hua.
No, they're not.
I go, uni ja ke ala, uni parivar di madad karni, uni vakil karne. Like Deep Sidhu's dad, he was fighting cases for Kharkos.
Yeah.
No one knew he was until Deep Sidhu became famous. Gurjan Singh Bodh Singh wale de parivar nu to pata hi singa ke ede pe ne ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਸੰਘਰਸ਼ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, free fought cases and stuff, and there's a lot of people in our qawm like that who are not going to come on a public platform, because you come on a public platform, you're getting arrested.
You become a target.
Yeah. So if you're dealing with cases, you don't do that. You don't tell people what you're really doing, because you're not there to make a following. You're not there to make a buck off people.
Yeah.
So the Sikhs in India, even now, who are doing real qawm, real seva, they're suffering a famine. They're not getting any support, because all we want to do is we want to support a public aid agency who's giving langar or going to Bosnia or somewhere. It's like, so it really hurts, because I see the reality on the ground, and we're very tied up with the intelligence agencies and everything back following us and stuff, and people grassing on us, whatever. So for us, it's like really hard in terms of like following the movement in India, and like actually fighting, So at the moment, like I'll say it today, Kanakwal Pangwa is our sthana, Guru Tegh Bahadur Itihasak Godhara. We've got a Vidyalaya there, Payamarji Singh Maryada runs that Vidyalaya, and we've been supporting those things for the last 10 years. We spent over 1 crore rupiah there.
Right.
And we've got the SGPC now saying we're going to take you to court to try to do kabja on the data. This is the reality, and these are the same things who go and fight Biadbi cases all across India, Dale Fukade and everything else. Like our car got smashed up when Bargari happened.
Yeah.
We don't see channel our gaddiyan sariyan panniya. They stole the things Kashere, Baki to ki lena, you know what I mean? They stole all the iPads, everything, and we're picking up the pieces all the time, in terms of financially and like emotionally and stuff. And I was ringing the things like, where are you? And they're like sleeping in, and they go like, "Bhai, sab suttaya, do den suttani."
Yeah.
You know, like, this is the reality on the ground, and people don't realise that. Like, you can like follow public personalities on social media, but the ground level is something different.
Yeah, well, it is.
And the reality with Punjabis, you need prachar, है ना? Everyone's in with the government, everyone's linked up with everyone, है ना? And it's like, look at the Akal Takht Jathedar, he gave Amit Shah a srupa.
Yeah.
For what? What do you give him a srupa for? Yeah, and it's like, you're an employee, you're not the Akal Takht Jathedar. So future projects, I want to bring this to the comp to say, look, these guys are employees. He's not a Akal Takht Jathedar. But then when he came to the UK, everyone met him and made friends with him.
Good shot.
And no, Harpreet.
Oh yeah.
Harpreet Singh, so Singh Sahib. But it's like, I'm a calm and I doesn't learn. And so sometimes you sit at home and you read the situation and you're like, this is just like, I mean, my favourite saying when I'm on my soapbox is like, everyone's on crack. And it's like, they don't see the trees from the forest. And it's just like really hard. And you just get bitter and twisted like I'm sounding now. But in the end, you know, Hannah, that it's going to come through.
Yeah.
Ke Mahapurkha de bachan pure hone hai.
Yeah.
So like people like me, I didn't get rocked by Deep Sidhu dying. Because it's like Deep Sidhu chal gaya, kalu ho rajuga.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's not because I didn't like Deep Sidhu, Hannah, or didn't respect the guy, but it's like, it's just das Sangarish. This is nothing extraordinary. This is just normal. This is normal for our program, and this is what happens. And if we get taken out, we get taken out. It's just, that's who it is. We're here to do a job, and we do the job, and we go home. I think we need to cut the last 15 minutes.
Whatever you want to cut, we can cut. We can cut whatever you want.
The last 15 minutes might be the bit, innit?
No, that's right, son. Right. Have you got anything you want to, like I said, ask us with regards to anything that's said?
No. Are we done?
No, we can carry on forever.
No.
All right, son.
I'm not doing an 8-hour cam.
No, that's fine. That was the worst. No, Singh, I just want to say thank you very much on behalf of the Flawed, Foolish and Fantastic podcast. You are fantastic.
I can't believe you called it
Singh came up with this wicked name. I love it. No, I just want to say thank you very much. And for anybody who is listening to this and obviously wants to know more, I would suggest that they contact you. I know you're going to say leave me alone, but you've got more to add to this, and I know that anyway. But I just want to say thank you very much, and I appreciate you having us around after all this time. So I just want to leave it there. Why
You're only 2 hours late.